Saturday on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by GTE, the official telecommunications consultant to the NCAA, and by Marriott Hotels, Resorts and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. A lot of the excitement here in Arizona due to the fact that Arizona is riding a 6-game winning streak. Nearly 55,000 expected. We talked about the offense, but still remnants of that Desert Swarm defense. Time to bring in the third member of our broadcast team in Paul Sunderland. They are anchored by a superstar cornerback.
Well, Bill, no doubt about that. Chris McAllister, potential All-American here at Arizona, and you have to play defense down in the desert. And you know, if you remember the name McAllister, should you well because of the Pac-10 history. His father, James, an All-American twice at UCLA back in 72 and 73. You know, Bill, they said the apple doesn't roll far from the tree. And in terms of greatness, it certainly doesn't in this case, although his son, Chris, is doing his damage on the defensive side of the ball and on special teams. In Hawaii in the opener, he ran the kickoff back 100 yards, and he was far from done. Broke up a couple of passes and was all over the field. And then last week in the Pac-10 opener, up on the farm at Stanford, had a pick, broke up 4 other passes. He might play some offense, and you know he's going to be all over the field for Arizona. So Desert Swarm doesn't live, but maybe he's regenerating it just a little bit. Billy?
Thank you so much, Sonny. We'll check in with you periodically throughout this evening's telecast. The Iowa Hawkeyes 1-1 on the season, and David Norrie. This is a program rich in tradition, and they are really questioning this team this year after that loss last week to Iowa State. First time since 1982 that Hayden lost to the Cyclones.
Yeah, 16 straight wins against Iowa State, and it wasn't just a win last week by the Cyclones. It was a drubbing, a big victory, and a lot of talk up in Iowa City over the course of the week about the Iowa offensive line. I think it's really going to be key tonight, Bill. How can the Iowa offensive line protect this young quarterback, Kyle McCann?
You know, a lot of players operating out of position on that offensive line. They can't block anyone over the first couple of games, although they average 6'5", 280. Dick Tomey once again has a lot of talented athletes. You know, it's interesting when you look at Arizona, they are gearing towards 1999, but who knows, with a great start, they could be gearing towards 98.
Yeah, they are gearing towards 98. It looks that way, Bill, and Dick Tomey and the Wildcats have quietly built a 6-game winning streak. You hear a lot in the Pac-10 about the winning streak, 12 games for UCLA. Arizona looks like the dark horse candidate to go to the Rose Bowl in 1998.
The question, who will start at quarterback, O.J. Ortiz-Jenkins or Keith Smith? We expect it to be Smith, but you never know with Dick Tomey. He doesn't like to name the starter until the very last moment. And Dick Tomey on the 2-quarterback system. Can you win shuffling quarterbacks?
Well, I don't know. I think we can win as long as the 2 quarterbacks are playing well. I think we just have 2 guys that deserve a chance to prove they're the best. And the way to do that is give them a chance to play in games. They both set records for us at one time or another during their careers here. And I think obviously they'd both like to play every play, but right now that's not possible.
And it will be Keith Smith starting this one. Arizona will receive. And the Hawkeyes will kick off with Tim Douglas. Jason Baker is also the punter, rather, will be kicking it off, not Douglas. 2 great return men, McAllister and Northcutt. Sunday told you that McAllister took the opening kickoff of the season 100 yards against Hawaii. He's 5 yards deep, and Northcutt says, I don't think this time. And Arizona will set up shop, their first series of the evening on the 20. Starting tonight, as he did against Stanford last week, Keith Smith, 5'11", 202 pounds, and a junior from Newberry Park. Both of these quarterbacks are from Southern California. The offensive line, surprisingly good. Yusef Scott is a returner at right guard. And the skill positions are probably the best ever in the Tomey era. Trunk Candidate is back and healthy and gained 100 yards in his return last week. Trunk Candidate is the lone setback as we get things underway. McDaniel and Northcutt are the wideouts. Smith will throw. Northcutt complete over the 40 to the 43-yard line. First down, he beat Matt Hughes 23 yards. Defensively for Hayden Fry's Hawkeyes, Aaron Klein playing next to Jared DeFries. He should see single blocking. The linebacking core we just talked about, Matt Hughes played just one series because of a hamstring last week. They need him. Defensive backs, 3 youngsters, and Eric Thigpen, who is the veteran of the group. Out of shotgun, Smith has good protection, guns it over the middle, caught down to the 37-yard line. That's Brandon Nash. 20 more yards, and they'll move the chains for the Arizona Wildcats. Thigpen on the coverage.
And Arizona with a little wrinkle, opening up in the no-huddle offense. 2 beautiful balls to start the game by Keith Smith. The first on a fade route, and then the seam route down the middle to Nash.
Arizona will run out of the shotgun. In fact, they probably run better than anyone in the country out of this formation. And Trung Candidate is the lone set. Smith again has his man. Northcutt's got his second catch. Very close to a first down at the 27-yard line. Dennis Northcutt, the junior from Dorsey High in Los Angeles.
And Smith is really spreading it around. This is a bit of a surprise. Arizona likes to establish the run game early, but 3 straight passes. And watch how he comes back to the football. Gives Keith Smith a nice picture on that curl route, and then fights forward, trying to pick up the first down.
David, this is a very young team on both sides of the ball for Iowa, but extremely young in the secondary. And Arizona picking on them. There is the run out of shotgun, up the middle. Trung Candidate across the 25 to the 24. Third first down on the initial drive for Arizona. Matt Hughes, the leading tackler the last 2 years, made the stop. Now, Trung Candidate, his first contact since December, was impressive against the Cardinal last week.
Yeah, he missed the opener against Hawaii with a stress fracture in his right foot, but he is such a patient runner. He's a great tailback at setting up his blocks, and he has the explosiveness to take it to the house.
A frantic opening seconds. Smith, very mobile, slings it, tipped, nearly caught, and intercepted. Hawkeyes intercept at the 15, and they've got the football. The big tight end, Mike Lucky, was the intended receiver, 6'7". That's why I say big, and Raj Clark comes up with it.
Yeah, they always say you never throw the ball down the middle late, and Keith Smith is going to throw across his body here. He's going to get into trouble. The ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage. That might have been DeVries, and a nice play by Clark to fight for the interception. When the ball's in the air, you teach your defensive players that that ball belongs to them. Clark comes up with a big turnover on the first possession.
Hawkeyes at their own 15. Kyle McCann is the freshman quarterback. Give it up to Betts. Has some room up the gut to the 21-yard line. Kyle McCann is the quarterback, mature beyond his years. Randy Reiners, of course, is out with an injury. So Kyle McCann from Creston, Iowa, is your quarterback. Offensive line, Derrick Rose might be the best center in the Big Ten. He's a senior. And Khalil Hill, the son of former ASU great J.D. Hill, is exciting to watch from the flanker position. Big hit at the line. Liddell Betts, minimal yardage, if that. Joe Tafoya, Daniel Greer head the Wildcat defense, which we'll take a look at right now. Joe Tafoya, the sophomore, physical strength, his biggest asset. The linebacking crew in the middle. Marcus Bell has to be the man this year. He was a complimentary linebacker last season. And Kelvin Hunter should get a lot of business with Chris McAllister on the other side. Third down and 5. McCann, close, and a first down out to the 27-yard line. Arizona Stadium, college football Saturday. Bill McDonald, David Norrie, Paul Sunderland. Arizona took the opening kick, drove down to the 15-yard line, but an interception stalled their drive. Now the Hawkeyes pick up a first down. On the delay, shifty move by Betts, the freshman from Blue Springs, Missouri. Here's the heir apparent, David Norrie. Remember, Tavian Banks was the Big Ten rushing champ last season. He's trying to fill those shoes.
Yeah, you talk about big shoes to fill. Tavian Banks averaged over 140 yards a game for the Hawkeyes last year, but the Iowa coaching staff loves Liddell Betts. He's got great size. He's got that NFL back type size, and he can surprise you with his cutback ability and his speed for a big tailback.
Two backs in the set, both wide receivers to the top on second down. Betts eludes the first tackler, spins out to the 36-yard line. He'll be a yard short of a first down.
And we've seen on the last two plays Betts' ability to cut back against the grain. This was not a designed counter play. If Betts is going to try the right side of the defensive line, he sees all lanes are shut off, cuts back, and picks up some positive yardage to set up a 3rd and short.
Iowa would love to grind it out. They have not been able to run the football at all, averaging 58 yards rushing in the first 2 games. Of course, you must take into consideration sack yardage. Into that, they have lost 115 yards on 12 sacks in the first 2 contests, and McCann will call a timeout. We're going to take a break. Fox Sports Net, College Football Saturday. Iowa, Arizona, the Big Ten and the Pac-10 meeting down in the desert. No score, first quarter. See you in a minute. Iowa, Arizona early on, first quarter. Hawkeyes 1-1 on the season, beating Central Michigan in their opener. It was a good win, but a bit misleading, I think. They were only up 7-0 at the half, wound up winning 38-0. 3rd and 1. Betts and Berger will be behind McCann. Hill is the single receiver. In motion is Wheatley. McCann, oh, is he drilled down at the 36? And I don't think so, David Norrie. Deshaun Polk and Keone Frazier, the freshman, combined to make the stop.
Now, I don't think Iowa's going to pick up the first down on that play. Last week, McCann got a rude welcoming from Iowa State, but this is his real first welcome to college football. Deshaun Polk absolutely plants him in the ground.
They will measure. Polk is a 6'2" junior. Short. And the Hawkeyes will punt it away. Well, maybe I am ahead of myself. Hayden Fry coming off of that loss, and I'll tell you, that smarts. That loss last week to Iowa State, a game in which the Hawkeyes were favored by 3 touchdowns and lost convincingly. It's 4th and inches on their own 36.5.
And it looks like Hayden Fry is getting ready to roll the dice.
I like it.
I don't like it.
Okay.
I don't like it this early in the game on your own 36-yard line with the redshirt freshman quarterback on the field.
Well, we know
he may be trying to draw him offside.
Probably. Although the gambler in me tonight says, why not? They need something to give themselves a kick in the pants. Oh, and they did draw them offside. Good call, David Norrie, and well executed, too, by the freshman McCann.
Yeah, not very good execution by Arizona defense. In the huddle on defense, you got to let all the guys know they're going to try to pull us off sides here. There's the movement early.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That was Scooter Sprott through the center guard gap. A nice hard count by Kyle McCann. And the center for Iowa, Derek Rose, he's just coached by Hayden Fry in that situation as we look at Tomey. He's coached, hey, if a defender violates that neutral zone, snap the ball, we take the 5 yards, and we move the chains.
Drive continues for Iowa. 9:45 remaining in the first. And this one will go against Iowa. They have not played efficient football their first 2 weeks. They took 12 penalties against the Cyclones, 21 in all. In contrast, Arizona, with their penalty a moment ago, has 11 on the year. Jim Springer is our referee tonight.
Prior to the snap, dead ball, false start, offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Billy, as we broke down the tape of last week's game between Iowa and Iowa State, more than one drive in the first half for Iowa was stalled just because of the execution at the line of scrimmage. Kyle McCann, number 4, the quarterback, a young kid, a redshirt freshman, doesn't quite have the presence at the line of scrimmage yet with his snap count, with his cadence, and as a result, Iowa sputtered with penalties last week in the first half.
One thing McCann hasn't had is any time at all. He's been running for his life. Betts trying to get outside. Another penalty flag. Quickly down to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Bill, Hayden Fry, head coach of Iowa now in his 20th season, has to be pretty happy with this start. Pretty gutsy call on that 4th and 1. But, you know, he now appears on a very distinguished list. Among active coaches, he is now 4th. And look at the legends only that are among him. That is the most games coached by Hayden Fry, and also on the distinguished list in the Big Ten as well. A marvelous coach, started out at SMU and then went on to North Texas State, and now the winningest coach at Iowa. And getting things started here. Pretty gutsy call, that 4th and 1. Back to you.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
It's going to be a holding penalty on Iowa. You know, there's speculation, David, that Hayden Fry will coach this year, maybe next, because word is he wants to pass Bear Bryant on that list.
Well, not only should he pass Bear Bryant, he's 4 wins away from passing Bo Schembechler, actually tying Bo Schembechler on the all-time victory list, and he's only 8 victories away from tying Woody Hayes. So pretty heady company there for Hayden Fry.
Hawkeyes moving backwards. McCann in trouble. Down he goes. Daniel Greer's got him wrapped up.
When you're a young quarterback and you're taking a deep drop, you've got to be able to escape. And watch him in the pocket. Freeze it right there. McCann's going to have to escape to his right if he wants to get away from this rush. But he doesn't show me a lot of mobility here. You got one guy coming loose on you, Daniel Greer, and you've got to have the mobility to escape to the outside in that situation.
2nd down. They need to get to the 48 of Arizona for a first down. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. That's why they call it Desert Swarm. Polk was there first for Arizona. Eli Winek, also a young and talented defensive end who reminds a lot of folks down here in Tucson of the great Teddy Bruschi with his instincts.
A lot of great players over the years, especially in the 90s. We've talked about the Desert Swarm defense, but this defense historically at Arizona, they feed off the fans, they feed off the noise here, and they've got the Hawkeyes moving backwards.
Not a lot of 3rd and 37 plays in the book. And a noisy sellout crowd. Good protection for McCann. Lost it sideline. Completes. Near the 30-yard line. It's a little breathing room. Ryan Barton, who's the leading receiver on the team, 15 yards. That's his 7th catch of the year. But it'll be 4th down in time for Iowa now to punt it away.
And in a 3rd and 37 situation, you don't want to try to pick up the first down. You want to give your punter some field position. A nice job by McCann, a nice job by the offensive line, creating a pocket. And I like the accuracy flash there by the young quarterback.
Dennis Northcutt, 202 all-purpose yards per game. Great punt by Baker. Wonderful punt. Chases Northcutt back to the 12. Northcutt trying to get outside. A big block back at the 25-yard line. 58-yard boot by the sophomore from Fort Wayne, and a 20-yard return, the talented Dennis Northcutt. A lot of excitement, as mentioned, here in Tucson, but still no score halfway through the first.
Yeah, the key drive in that game, Iowa marching the length of the field to run out the clock on the Wildcats.
Arizona with the football again. And that is Kelvin Ifan, the senior from Dallas.
You know, Ifan's a real interesting guy. He's a very versatile back for Arizona. He plays both in the tailback and the fullback positions. He got the start at Hawaii, had a big game. He's actually coming into this game leading the Wildcats in rushing, and at one time, Billy played basketball for the Wildcats.
He is a bruiser, the MVP of the bowl win over New Mexico last year. Keith Smith still the quarterback. Efon again. He's already got 3 touchdowns on the young season. You know, David, this Arizona team last week amassed over 500 yards total offense, and they missed on 3 glorious chances, or could have been more, in their 31-14 conference opener against Stanford.
And we talked about the Hawaii game, how Keith Smith came in and bailed out Ortiz Jenkins. And last week against Stanford, OJ came in and really got the Wildcats moving, subbed in for Keith Smith.
And we expect to see Ortiz Jenkins in the second quarter. Here comes the blitz. Slip screen, great call. Northcutt's got room. He's going to go. Great tackle by Matt Bowen. I'm surprised Northcutt didn't go right to the flag. 56 yards. David Noy, did it appear that he had plenty to get there first?
Yeah, I'm shocked he didn't score on that play. A kid with the ability of Northcutt. And Keith Smith catches Iowa in a blitz. When you run that flanker screen, that smash screen, you catch the Hawkeyes in a blitz, it's off to the races. And I just don't think Northcutt sees Bowen coming from the left side there.
An absolute shocker that he didn't get 6 on that play.
I mean, 99 out of 100 times Dennis Northcutt is going to score with that ball. And great play by Bowen.
Absolutely, give him credit. First down and goal. E5 off tackle, keeps on chugging. Look at him go down to the 3-yard line. Eric Thigpen had to come up to finally drag down the big load of Kevin Efon. It'll be second down and goal down at the 3.
Now, Efon brings a very nice aspect to this Wildcats rushing game. He's the guy that Dick Tomey likes to bring in short yardage situations. You can see his toughness there, pulling Bowen for extra yardage. And Bowen's one of the biggest hitters you'll see in the Big Ten this year at the strong safety position.
A jumbo backfield for Arizona. Everyone in tight. Smith still got the ball. No, you don't think he got in. Very close. Bit of a mix-up in the backfield. Slowed up that play a little bit from the outset.
Yeah, poor execution in the backfield. You watch Keith Smith open out. Shields and Wendler in the backfield. And right here, there's a collision in the backfield. Keith Smith is going to do the right thing here, though. Get into a gap. He runs the ball right where the tailback was designed to go. And a very headsy play by young Keith Smith.
Give the ball to Candidate. Up and over. Touchdown, Arizona. Six plays, 69 yards, and the payoff, Trung Candidate.
The Candidate just hits the hole so quickly. I mean, he bursts through a hole. If you give him an opening, you better close things down in a hurry. And a big play on that drive, the screen pass to Northcutt.
They will shift the line, and the extra point now attempt. Mark McDonald from Santa Monica, California. Ryan Springston is the holder. Ball down, kick up. It's good. Keith Smith leads the first scoring drive of the evening. And Trung Candidate, the 5'11" junior from Phoenix. The touchdown, 7-0 Cats. Touchdown. Our Buick scoring drive, 6 plays, 69 yards, a 1-yard dive by that man right there. It took just 3 minutes and a second.
Billy, this is a very tough formation to line up against at the goal line. Great execution by Arizona with that full house backfield.
Kicking off will be Michael Johnson, and this is an aspect of the game that was lacking from Arizona last year. The JC transfer, number 43, has the ability to kick it deep and out of the end zone. You know, Dick Tomey, in all his years as a head coach, has praised special teams. It's been always one of the strongest parts of his teams. Certainly, they let him down many times last year. That's why they brought Johnson in. Let's see if he can kick it deep. Can't be much of a breeze down on the floor. Not much wind at all to speak of. Just a breath maybe down on the floor. Very warm evening as always here in the desert.
Now we talked to Hayden Fry and the coordinators yesterday. They did not want to get down in this football game with a freshman at quarterback in front of a hometown crowd here in Tucson.
Watch for number 3, Khalil Hill. He's returned a punt and a kick for a touchdown already, but this one will not be brought back by Matt Stockdale.
And a communication coming in from Ortiz Jenkins on the touchdown play. He's signaling in the full house backfield. Watch the blocks here in the backfield, 32 and 34, Shields and Wendler, and they're just going to move the defensive line. 32, Shields coming down. That's the key block. Candidate up and over. Boy, it's tough to line up against a full house backfield at running 3 to 4 yard start. Good punch delivered by a couple reserve fullbacks.
How resilient will the Hawkeyes be? And how will the young offensive line now perform? 1st and 10 at the 20. Quick drop. Long pass. Got a man. Caught. Diving catch and a beautiful one by Bashir Yamini. He beat Kelvin Hunter. 32 yards in there in cat territory.
Now that's a great fade ball by Kyle McCann. And Bashir Yamini is one of the fastest individuals in college football. In fact, he's a favorite to make the 200-meter team at the next Olympic Games. He has that type of speed. McCann gives him a chance to get open on the fade. Actually, that's a streak ball thrown to the outside. And Yamini shows that he's more than a track guy with that catch. He shows he's got football skills, goes up and beats Hunter for the grab.
Hawkeyes lost Tim Dwight and a couple of others on the wideout position. That ball is gunned incomplete. Kevin Casper, the sophomore, the intended receiver. With Casper and Barton, a couple of good walk-ons for Hayden Fry. It's a very deep and talented wideout position. I mentioned that they lost Tim Dwight and a couple of other players, and with it, the majority of last year's receptions.
Well, Iowa lost their top 4 receivers and 5 receivers that gained quality time back in 1997. So McCann's really throwing to a brand new wideout unit.
Pump fake. McCann, plenty of time. Broken up, nearly intercepted. Threw it behind Bashir Yamini. Chris McAllister, the 2-time all Pac-10 corner, who they threw at 17 times last week. They threw at him again.
Now we watch outside, locked man-to-man, and across the field here, just working on a crossing route. Watch the closing speed by McAllister. That's a great close. Bashir Yamini's got to continue across the field, and he's got to retain his speed, because if you're locked up man-to-man with Chris McAllister, the second you slow down, he's going to break on the football.
Let's see how many Arizona brings and if Iowa Max protects. Here comes the blitz. Picked up well, wide open, caught, and close to a first down. Yamini. Pretty good open field tackle for the Wildcats. Leland Gales, the safety. It appears as though eyeballing it, it will be half a yard short. And another decision for the Hawkeyes, really in no man's land down there at the 39.
Yamini, for the first time in his Iowa career tonight, becoming a factor in this Iowa throwing game. McCann, I really like his accuracy early in this football game. He has good poise in the pocket, delivers the ball on the money, but the real play is made by Gales here. What a tackle by Gales in the open field. If he doesn't make that tackle, Yamini has another 15, 20 yards.
Michael Berger is in the backfield. They'll go on 4th. McCann, first down, under pressure. And McCann may be hurt. Might hit his hand on a helmet. Khalil Hill, the Iowa City freshman, talented and has the size, made the catch. LaShaw Rich on the coverage.
Now this is a great throw. Khalil Hill just escaping out into the flat on a 4th down play. And watch McCann loop the ball. We don't pick it up there, but he threw the ball out over the defensive end, Joe Tafoya. Tafoya was in position to make the interception, and McCann with nice touch on that throw.
They move the chains for the Hawkeyes. Betts gains a couple. A reminder. reminder that Fox Sports News Primetime is your source for college football news. Who's making a run for the Heisman? What teams are moving up in the ranks? Which contenders remain undefeated? We've got college football covered like no one else. Fox Sports News Primetime tonight after the game. Check your local listings.
How about Ohio State earlier this afternoon, trailing against Missouri early in the third quarter, but Billy, they took care of business, extended that lead, and won that game convincingly.
And an impressive win for Kansas State at home over Texas. A reverse. Will he throw it? Yamini incomplete. Late flag down at the 15. Scooter Sprott might be the guilty party. The flag is thrown down at the 15 after the incomplete pass. It was thrown by Bashir Yamini on the reverse.
And Billy, this is a good call. Scooter Sprott and Rafael Jones, a free safety, back on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense. 15 yards.
We're going to take another look. The pitch to the right side, the reverse. And Yamini, a good job of staying alive in the backfield. He's going to throw the fade route. And watch Sprott here. And they call the contact on Sprott. If Sprott gets his eyes, you take a look at the shot in the backfield, but if Sprott gets his eyes back to the football, they won't call the penalty there.
Never turned around.
Contact before the ball arrives, they'll call it every time if you don't have your eyes trained back to the quarterback.
The eye back. Betts. Tripled up. Deshaun Polk again, along with Scooter Sprott. You know, last week, just 42 yards rushing for Iowa, 9 points at home. That's not going to get it done. We talked about just over 50 yards on the ground. Last year, Iowa led the Big Ten in rushing with 217 yards.
You talk about great linebackers, Polk and Marcus Bell sitting in there. You know, the Arizona defense is designed to make you run laterally, and then they take advantage of the great speed at linebacker.
It's strength versus speed tonight in Tucson. Less than a minute to play in the quarter. McCann. Complete. And you want to talk about closing speed. Rafael Jones that time was on Yamini as soon as he touched the football. So two successive plays lose yardage for Iowa. It'll be third down.
Now, super close by Jones on that play. He played as a true freshman a couple years ago, and Arizona was so deep at defensive back that he redshirted the 1999 season, the 1997 season. And as a result, Jones right there in the middle of the action at the free safety spot. He's a very athletic free safety. He can play the run and the pass.
Another Californian that chose to come to Arizona. Watch for Khalil Hill in this situation. McCann, scrambling, looking, throwing, throw it away, out of bounds. Yamini again was the intended receiver. Chris McAllister was all over him. It'll be fourth down. And Iowa has two field goal kickers, Zach Bromert, who kicks from about 25-30 yards in, and Tim Douglas, the long field goal kicker. And we'll see who gets the call here.
It's going to be Douglas. Douglas hit a 48-yarder last week against Iowa State.
Douglas, the junior. Scott Mullen will hold. Right hash. It'll be a 40-yard attempt. They're down 7-0. Plenty long and good. So Douglas, the distance field goal kicker. And the Hawkeyes are back in it at 7-3, and that's the end of the first quarter. Glad you're with us. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Back with more from Tucson after this. David Norrie, Paul Sunderland, Arizona Stadium, beautiful Tucson, Arizona. Iowa and Arizona hooking up, both of them last year with similar records, both overall and in conference, 7-5 and 4-4 in their respective conferences. And Jason Baker will kick it off again. Northcutt and McAllister. And this one will be to the end of the end zone. Time now for a college football Saturday game break. We take you
5 straight times.
Thank you, Kevin. Now the Gators certainly has Tennessee's number, and you would figure this wouldn't be the year that Florida would do it. I mean, the Tennessee would do it without Peyton Manning.
Yeah, but they got a great quarterback at Tennessee this year, filling in for Peyton Manning by the name of T. Martin.
Jenkins is in the game on his first place. Trump candidate loses yards. Quickly down to Paul Sunderland with a great basketball star.
Yeah, very special guest, Steve Kerr, winner of several NBA championships and a reunion here. 1988, the first Final Four team for the University of Arizona. Welcome back. Congratulations. 10 years in the NBA.
10 years ago that we were in college. I can't believe it. We're getting old, I guess.
Well, they gave you a huge round of applause here. Was that for the play at Arizona or the play with the Bulls?
I'm not sure. Maybe it was the play of Michael Jordan. Maybe that's why I got the ovation. I'm not sure.
Well, it's always good to be along on that, Steve. Congratulations. Good to see you. And play basketball, would you? All right, let's go back upstairs.
Thank you, Sunday. O.J. incomplete, intended for candidate, and it will be third down. What a reunion for that 1988 Arizona team.
Now we see Ortiz Jenkins has entered the game, and yeah, it's nice to see Steve Kerr down on the sidelines with Paul. You know, that 88 team lost in the semifinals to Danny Manning and the Kansas Jayhawks, and as we all know, Kansas went on and beat Oklahoma in that final game to win the NCAA championship.
3rd and 17, and Ortiz Jenkins is a big play quarterback at his own 13. Jenkins will run. He's got the wheels to the 20, 25, but he's short of a first down. Tripped up at the 26-yard line. 14 yards, he needed 17. Tarig Holman, the leading tackler for Iowa, was there to stop him.
What is so dangerous about this Arizona offense, you've got two kids, Smith and Ortiz Jenkins, that can throw the ball big time. I mean, they've got talented throwing arms, but then they can pull the ball down and really hurt you running the football. Ortiz Jenkins doing a nice job of giving Springston some room to operate here.
Springston, you see the average as long as 52. This part of the game also suffered last year. Hopefully that Springston can shore that up. Back deep at the 29-yard line, a pair of returners for Iowa. A very late fair catch signal by Hill. 41-yard punt. As I mentioned before, the capper, the nightcap, if you will, coast to coast on Fox Sports Net. Arizona Stadium sold out tonight. 6-game winning streak for the Arizona Wildcats. They play 4 of their first 5 games this year on the road. Their next game will be, well, it'll be a short week. They have to take on San Diego State, but then they get a couple of extra days before they get set for Washington up in Seattle.
Down on the sidelines, Iowa's defensive front huddling. There's Jared DeVries, number 94. Probably the best defensive lineman in the country. The NFL scouts certainly think so. And on his left, number 90, Aaron Klein. He's a very talented nose guard as well.
Give the ball up to Betts. This time he finds a seam and bolts out to the 38-yard line. Joe Tafoya, the stop for Arizona. Ortiz Jenkins. A lot of people figured this would be his year and only he would be the quarterback. There's a flag down because of the sensational year he had as a freshman. But more on that when Arizona gets the football. Another penalty. It has been a bugaboo for Iowa.
Illegal formation, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Actually, when you look at the Arizona quarterbacks, they are so close. In fact, scary how similar their stats were.
Yeah, the stats were identical in the completion and attempts department. Jenkins really had the better game. He entered the game in the second quarter, led the Wildcats to 24 points.
And they each ran a quarterback draw in their time out on the field. McCann, straight drop and a D point. Now he's flushed out. Has room to run, but he'll throw instead. Inbounds, yes sir. 46-yard line. 18 yards, and Ryan Barton put the glue on that one. Good catch and a decent decision that time by McCann, rolling out pocket.
And this is not an easy assignment as a redshirt freshman coming down to Tucson. McCann on the move to his right, and that's a nice ball. He makes sure he doesn't throw the ball into trouble there, and he hits Barton in full stride. Nice grab by Barton, too, to make the catch and to get that foot down.
And he is going to improve as there is a Cat player down and hurts. Anthony Thomas, a sophomore. McCann will improve because of his new quarterback coach. He's a famous quarterback, and we'll tell you who he is after this play. Complete Yamini. Might be another first down. For the last couple of years, Chuck Long has been the defensive backfield coach at Iowa, but now the great Hawkeye signal caller is coaching the QBs, and what an influence he has on McCann.
Well, Chuck Long, everybody remembers Chuck Long in the early and mid 80s, all-time leading passer in Iowa history, and what a guy to be tutoring you in the backfield. You talked about Chuck Long being the defensive back coach, Billy, for the last 3 seasons, and now he's really where he should be, working with the quarterbacks and imparting all the wisdom he picked up as a college player and the 8 seasons he played with the Detroit Lions.
On first down, they'll try the ground again, intent on doing something on the ground with the rush. Michael Berger, maybe a yard, the big fullback. He's been around. He's from Harlan, Iowa. The offensive line. Derrick Rose, the captain. He's the center. Not much depth, though, with all these youngsters.
Not a lot of depth, but they were expected to be a strength coming into the year. Both guards and the center back. Not a good game last week for this unit. In fact, Hayden Fry was on them all week long, and they've stepped up to the challenge tonight.
The tackles average 19 years of age. McCann going deep. Coming back to the football is Yamini, and that might be offensive interference. I'll tell you what, Yamini came back, and it's going to be against Arizona. Leland Gales apparently also didn't turn around in time. Check it out.
Yeah, we'll check out the fake in the backfield here. McCann opening out in the fake. Look at the cell right there. And then McCann's going to hide the ball. That's a beautiful cell. He has all the time in the world set up by the fake. The problem was McCann just didn't get the ball up early enough. If you're going to throw that post corner route, you got to get the ball up early. McCann lucky to pick up the pass interference call against Gales.
McCann last week, 19 out of 30, 229 yards. It was the 4th highest total by an Iowa quarterback in their first start under a Hayden Fry coach team. Both teams, 3 penalties each. And this one keeps an impressive Iowa drive moving. Betts and Tyne in the backfield. Tripping over his own man as McCann gets it to Betts. Can't turn the corner. Can't beat the speed. Marcus Bell out of his middle linebacker position from St. John's, Arizona, the junior, who Dick Tomey called the best defender that he had last year, made the stop.
Yeah, that play went for a bit of a loss, but you have to really be impressed by Kyle McCann's athletic ability. He plays basketball for the Hawkeyes during the fall. He joins the basketball team after the football season is over, but he's tripped up, and look at that. He still deals that ball off the top of the deck out to Betts, and Betts able to get the ball almost back to the line of scrimmage.
On second down, he lost a yard. It's 2nd and 11. Here comes the rush. McCann throws it away. Marcus Bell sprinting in. The crowd wants a flag. Not going to get it. Good presence of mind. The freshman quarterback to throw it away.
Kyle McCann is going to see the middle linebacker, Marcus Bell, come clean right now. And Derrick Rose doesn't pick him up. The big center's got to pick up Marcus Bell because he's the first guy that shows in that center guard gap. And of all the guys on this Wildcat defense that you don't want to turn loose up the gut, it's Marcus Bell. He's that good.
Hawkeyes 1 out of 5 on 3rd down. Yamini in motion. McCann, looking for 6. Caught! Touchdown! Iowa! Flag down at the 32. And it's going to come back holding Hawkeyes. You can wash out the 6.
and as Coach Hayden Fry have taken during this week after that tough Iowa State loss. That's the last thing Hayden Fry needs. I mean, that is a big momentum builder if this play stands. McCann thinks he has a touchdown pass. It's a beautiful ball. A deep fade route. And he looks back and he sees the laundry on the field. Let's see if we can pick up the hold in the middle of the screen here. There it is, right there. See the takedown in the middle of the screen? And they call it immediately. Kyle McCann has shown me some great throwing ability early in this game.
And I'll tell you what else, Yamini is emerging as a go-to guy for the Iowa Hawkeyes. He's not just a track star. This guy can play some football. Going to take a break. Iowa's still with the ball, but plenty to go on third down. That is a nice grouping. Young fans down in Tucson, glad you are with us, wherever you may be, coast to coast on a college football Saturday. Plenty of fans have made the trip down from Iowa City to cheer on the Hawkeyes. A big holding penalty takes away a touchdown pass to Yamini, and now it's third down for McCann and the Hawkeyes. A first down can be had at the 17. Off the corner comes a blitz, and it's incomplete. Deshaun Polk has been all over the field, and he truly is bearing down for Arizona.
Yeah, Deshaun Polk, the linebacker, is going to come off the edge here. Take a look at him at the top of the screen, and he's coming full tilt on the blind side. McCann does a good job of feeling him there, though. A lot of young quarterbacks would just take a blind side hit and probably give up the football, but McCann feels him from the backside and gets rid of the football.
Down with the snap. North cut. They kick away from him, and it'll be out of bounds near the 20-yard line. We have a penalty flag. Penalty flag at the 42. So a penalty marred second quarter. We have 11:16 remaining in it. It's 7-3 Arizona. A decision. We'll see where they spot the ball for Arizona. Dick Tomey, 12th year in Tucson, 22nd overall as a head coach, looking for win number 75 at this school.
Formation on the kicking team, not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Penalty is declined.
Arizona will take the football right where it's spotted at the 21-yard line.
That's a nice decision. You don't want to march Iowa back another 5 yards and have them drill a punt inside your own 10-yard line. And I'll tell you, Billy, the flags just keep coming. Flags last week really got Iowa in a hole against Iowa State and might have been the story of the first half, along with special teams mix-ups, and it continues to hurt the Hawkeyes tonight.
Ortiz Jenkins at quarterback. Trunk candidate leaps out to the 27-yard line. Right now, let's go to our College Football Saturday studio for an update with Kevin Frazier.
Guys, let's update you on the home run race, and actually all quiet on the home run front. Mark McGwire, for the first time all season long, strikes out 4 times. Nothing for the big Punisher. Same kind of flavor for Sammy Sosa. He strikes out 3 times, so McGwire remains at 64, Sosa with 63. Let's head back to Arizona.
And Baseball Thursday follows Big Mac, and the race for the home run record as the Cardinals host the Expos at Busch. Or some of you will see the Rangers battle for the division titles. They visit Junior and the Mariners Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings for the game in your area. Back to action, Jenkins zips it out to the 35-yard line. Jeremy McDaniel, the senior from North Carolina. That's his 14th catch of the year. He had 14 in one game last season and nearly 300 yards, so he has the ability.
And what a luxury for these Arizona quarterbacks. They've got McDaniel and Northcutt out at the wideout positions. They have the luxury of just raising up, getting the ball out to these talented receivers. And what's so special about Northcutt and McDaniel is their ability to run after the catch.
Caught from behind is OJ. And Jared is 6'4", 284. The senior. He came back for his senior year. Last year's Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. Brings down Jenkins. And for a great player like number 94, he has been in a slump, David Norrie. He came into this game with no sacks on the season.
He's practically playing on one leg, and I love the intensity with DeVries to even go tonight. At 6'4", 284 pounds, and he runs down a pretty quick quarterback from behind.
Problem with cramping in the legs the first two games. Candidate has nowhere to run. That's a big-time play by Raj Clark. He read that well. Bing, he was in the backfield.
Let's take a look at Raj Clark. Look at him coming up into the picture. Quickness, slipping the block there, and there's some contact behind the line of scrimmage. Raj Clark, one of the top tacklers on this Iowa team a year ago, along with his linebacking mate, Matt Hughes. And he's another guy who's playing. He's had both knees injured, but he's still going. You got to admire some of these Iowa defensive players for just showing up tonight and getting out on the playing field.
4 wide receivers, 3 to the near side. They go to the other side. Caught! Dennis Northcutt stretched it out, and on a long third down play, a first down conversion into Hawkeye territory, 27 yards, and they move the chains for the Wildcats.
Yeah, talented throwing arms can make the difference. This is just a fade. Northcutt gets off the bump. He's working against Holman, and that ball is perfectly thrown. And McDaniel's going to take a shot from the backside here. That's Ed Sadat coming from the blind side, and that is just a beautiful throw on the fade ball.
Northcutt, 4 grabs for 113 yards, the bulk of that on the inside screen earlier in the contest in the first quarter. Option. OJ will run it. 39-yard line, knocked out of bounds there. Ortiz Jenkins. David, I think this is a good time to talk about the difference between Keith Smith and Ortiz Jenkins. Smith is generally regarded as the better of the 2 runners. Jenkins has the better arm and is much bigger.
Well, I always hear the question, what's the difference between these 2 guys? I think they have very similar talents. They're both very talented in the pocket. They were coached formerly by Homer Smith, one of the great offensive coordinators in the history of college football. Now Dino Babers has taken over, but Smith and Jenkins very well schooled in the pocket, throwing the football, and they both run the ball very well. I don't see a lot of differences between these 2 guys.
Candidate up the middle, could go. Trump Candidate, that's a touchdown. Arizona, 38 yards.
One of the great backs on the West Coast. He's very capable, Billy, of playing at the next level.
And often overlooked. He certainly has added some upper body strength, and he has big-time speed and quickness. The speed of a Chuck Levy, one of the great names in Arizona football history. Candidate. And Northcutt wants to celebrate. We're back in a moment to the desert. Second touchdown of the evening for Arizona. Inside.
Ability, big block, he creates a seam, and then the cutback. Candidate just gets rid of Holman, and he's off to the races.
And here's a boot into the end zone, 3 yards deep, and they won't bring it out. So Michael Johnson does his job. Khalil Hill, the touchback. And that offensive line, beginning of the season a question mark, but so far 2.5 games, they have been a shining moment. Our Buick scoring drive, 7 plays, 79 yards. Candidate 38 yards to finish it off in just under 3 minutes.
We were talking to Bob Elliott, the defensive coordinator for Iowa yesterday, and he said what makes the difference in Candidate's arsenal is his patience and his smarts at the tailback position. He'll wait, and he'll set up the block, and what a block it was by his big right guard, Scott.
Again at the 20, halfway through the second quarter. McCann wants the inside screen. In trouble. Throws it away again. Absolutely no time for number 4. Khalil Hill was the intended receiver. And James Lewis, one of 10 different linemen who has seen significant time for the Wildcats, put on some pressure.
And what you don't want to do as a young quarterback, and freeze it right here. As a young quarterback, you want to start working back up the field. You don't want to go backwards and take a bigger sack. And that's a mistake McCann makes here. Now, he's fortunate enough to get the ball off, not pick up a grounding penalty. But when you play that quarterback position, especially in college football, and you take a sack, you want the sack to be 5 yards, not 15 yards.
We apologize for audio difficulties. As we speak, we are working on it. Betts spins to the 24-yard line. Continues to move. Arizona looking for their 7th win in a row, and this community is really hopping on this Wildcat wagon.
Yeah, they're hopping on this turnaround too, and what a big turnaround it has been here in the second quarter. Remember, McCann hit Yamini with the big touchdown ball down the right sideline, called back on a holding penalty, and then Dick Tomey's Wildcats turn it around and pick up a touchdown, coming right back.
In motion is Hill. McCann, straight drop, lofts it up high and out of bounds. That one was truly up for grabs. And that'll be a 4th down now upcoming.
Well, that's one of the deepest post corner routes you'll ever see.
Isn't it though?
McCann trying to get that ball 35 yards down the field on the post corner route. Billy, you got to get that ball up earlier throwing that type of ball.
And this is what they love in Tucson, their defense. We know it's early, but statistically, Arizona leading the Pac-10 in the defensive early returns. Yes, there still is a little desert swarm left. Bad punt. Off the side of his foot, but it'll take a huge Iowa roll. Picked up and then fumbled. And the Hawkeyes come up with a huge break. Roger Meyer. And Barton was there too. A questionable decision turns disastrous for Arizona.
I don't look at this as a questionable decision, Billy. A lot of coaches might, but I think this is a good play here. Northcutt just takes his eye off the ball. He had plenty of room. He had a nice buffer there between the 2 coverage men for Iowa as you see the Hawkeyes celebrate. And they got a chance to get right back in this game, but I think it was a pretty good play by Northcutt. He had enough room there. He just took his eye off the football.
The hit was by Meyer, and Barton came up with the football. When we come back, very short break, Iowa has it again.
Shocker, Tennessee knocks off Florida.
A huge shocker. So finally, Manning leaves and Tennessee wins, and everybody else will move up a spot in the top 5. On first down, McCann rolling, showing some mobility. That's a tough throw and a nice one down to the 23-yard line. 19 yards. Our Burger King game summary. Candidate 2 touchdowns rushing, 1 over the top and 1 from 38 yards. Iowa again having their woes, David, rushing just 7 yards. Smith in the first quarter was nearly perfect, and Northcutt 4 catches for over the century mark.
Yeah, the big difference, the way I see it, is the penalties, though, Billy. In the first half, Iowa has committed too many penalties. It was the same story last week. How about the throw on that last play by McCann? Going back across the grain. He's got a very talented throwing arm.
Marching right down the field after giving up a score with help from the fumble. Betts. Outside he goes. 16-yard line. Marcus Bell, Deshaun Polk combined to make the stop. Liddell Betts, 3-time Missouri Player of the Year, 66 touchdowns in his prep career. He has 3 touchdowns this year. You know, he's a cross between Cedric Shaw and Tavian Banks. He's got a little bit of both of them in him.
He could play in the NFL someday. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got the instincts that Iowa coaches talk about him being beyond his years. Looks like he's shaken up a little bit there, limping off the field, but he's a tough back too. 10 rushes, only 24 yards. I look for Betts to break one here before too long.
Let's see if McCann goes to the air on 2nd and 1. He will. Incomplete, intercepted. Scooter Sprott's got it. Across the 30. To the 40. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Scooter Sprott, 33 yards. Wildcats have it.
And when the Hawkeyes look at film tomorrow, Jed Dole is going to want to hide after this play. The ball is perfectly thrown. Number 82, Jed Dole, the tight end working over the middle. And Dole just does not come down with it. I mean, this ball is fitted right in there perfectly. Dole not only misses a catch, he puts it back up in the air on the deflection, and Sprott a nice play to bring it down. Wow, that's a huge play.
Spoken succinctly from a former ex-quarterback. The interception will go to McCann. It wasn't his fault. Flags down. Long throw. Out of bounds. Jeremy McDaniel the catch, but well out of bounds. Now we'll check the flag. Joe Slattery, the coverage.
Wow. Jared DeVries just leveled an offensive lineman in the backfield. Watch Jared DeVries, number 94. He's lined up outside the tackle, and watch the strength here. Working forward. He just puts his, that was Montesaveya.
David, he did that with one hand. He was double teamed.
He was double teamed on that. He just put Saveya right on his back. And DeVries, no question. And when you talk to the scouts, you read the publications coming into the 1998 season, ranked #1 at defensive line. He's got strength, he's got quickness, and he's got the speed to rush the passer. All the things that you need to play on Sunday.
And school records for tackles, for losses, and sacks. E5. Let's get back to Jared DeVries for a moment. Jared put on 20 pounds in the offseason, but he did not lose any of his quickness. And you can see that quickness really amounts to those career sacks. You got to be strong, but you got to be quick.
Yeah, he's the all-time leader for Iowa in sacks and tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He played all of last year with nagging injuries. This year, and we talked to Hayden Fry yesterday, Hayden said, I don't even know if he can go. I mean, he might only be able to go 15, 20 snaps for us. And you look at DeVries, and he really has the intensity and the courage to play a whole ball game tonight. Looks like he may go the whole way.
Ortiz Jenkins kept it, and down he goes. Tripped up. The sophomore from Jordan High School in Long Beach. Scott Mullen, quarterback, sophomore, 6'6", 210 pounds. They would be down to their 3rd quarterback. There is McCann. Of course, this year trying to replace Matt Sherman. And Randy Reiners has had his problems. A horrible death in the family, and also the injuries that Reiners has had to deal with.
Well, McCann's playing way too well to even consider putting another quarterback in the game. I've been very impressed with McCann early.
Jenkins on 3rd down. Incomplete. Northcutt went one way, the pass went the other, and the Iowa defense stands tall on this series, and they will force the Wildcats to punt with 4:08 remaining in the first half, and Arizona on top of the Hawkeyes 14-3.
That's a real big stop there for the Iowa defense. Iowa gave up the long touchdown drive on Arizona's last possession. Big turnaround on the interception by Sprott, and they're going to get the ball right back to McCann and the offensive team. Kyle McCann with 2 very impressive drives the last 2 times the Hawkeyes have touched the football.
Let's see if they can keep it away from Hill, who is one of the most dangerous returners in the country. At the 9, flag down again. And a good return from Holman. 44-yard punt, 14-yard return, but per usual here in the second quarter, we will check the flag in the ever-present Jim Sprenger.
Hayden Fry talking about all the new starters. 15 players have received their first start in the two opening games for Iowa.
3 real good recruiting classes for Iowa. Normally, they're caught down in the middle of the pack in recruiting in the Big Ten, but they've done quite well the last 3 years, as has Dick Tomey in Arizona.
You talk to Hayden Fry. He says, we're playing with so many young players. It's not the talent level that's down. We just don't have the experience. And one of the areas where you really get hurt playing with inexperienced players is the penalty department. And Iowa's just getting killed tonight. It might have cost them the game, at least cost them the momentum in the game in the first half last week to Iowa State. Tonight, it's been ugly once again.
And Hayden has put on a confident face the last week in the face of that loss last week.
Here we go. Formation, offense, 26 men on the line. Holding on the return team. The penalties cancel. Replay the down.
Let's do it again, and we will.
Boy, it took them a long time to sort that out.
Didn't it though? And we'll get a chance maybe to see Hill. Holman and Hill. Well, this campus in full swing. Tell you what, a lot of youngsters love to come down here, young women, young men, because of the great weather all season long down in the desert. Fourth down. Holman, Hill, back at the 15. Springston, the senior from Milford, Kansas. Nearly blocked. Hill, and he had room. 39-yard punt, no return. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you by GTE, the official telecommunications consultant to the NCAA. Bill McDonald, David Norton, Paul Sunderland, and nearly a block punt by Iowa.
Yeah, you talk about tough breaks. Ryan Barton is going to come clear at the bottom of your screen, and he needs to make a block here. I mean, he's on top of the punter. He extends, and he just didn't quite cover it.
Special teams would love to make a play for the Hawkeyes. 2 bad special teams plays gave Iowa State 10 quick points last week. The quick out is caught. That's going to be a penalty. That's very close to a penalty on McAllister. The whistles were already blowing when he threw him right down. Khalil Hill, the reception.
Now that's amazing they don't call.
Yeah, I thought they'd throw one there.
McAllister needs a 15-yarder thrown on him right there. He kind of lassoed Khalil Hill at the end there, threw him down, and can't believe they missed that one.
Second down, 5. Time winding down in the second. McCann might be checking off. Down the middle, incomplete. Third down upcoming, down to the sideline, Paul Sunderland.
Well, Bill and David, 3 minutes left in the first half and a chance for Iowa on this possession to really get some momentum back on the road before the half. And a lot of the talk on the sidelines has been about adjustments in the offensive front. As you saw a couple of possessions ago, McCann had more time to throw with the fade, the out patterns. Arizona brought some more pressure. So again, more and more adjustments by Hayden Fry. And Frank Verducci, the offensive line coach for Iowa, down on the sidelines, trying to get something done before the half and get some momentum. Back to you guys.
And you know, Bill Sunday is right. This is a big drive, but McCann has led this team down the field on the last 2 drives. Mistakes killed both possessions.
They're going to run it on third down. Great call, first down and more. Just short of midfield, Liddell Betts going over the right side. Boy, Arizona expecting past everybody in the place, and they ran it for 25 yards with the freshman.
Yeah, it was only a matter of time before Betts sprung one. Watch the right side of the line here in the Hawkeyes, working up front, and it's a great call by Hayden Fry. He goes to his bag of tricks, a little delayed draw, and Betts, he shows the ability, a little burst of speed to pick up the first down, and he gets out of bounds. Even more importantly here with 2:55 to go, saving some time for McCann to work even further damage. Now, the last 2 times Iowa has had the football, they've been killed by a holding call and a deflected interception.
Coming up at halftime with Kevin and Kellen in our College Football Saturday studio. Highlights of the North Carolina-Stanford thriller went right down to the final play. Highlights from around the country and scores. Of course, we'll be talking about that big upset also. Tennessee over Florida on our Marriott halftime update.
What an amazing game up at the farm earlier, Billy. Stanford winning that one at the gun on a field goal, and Ronald Curry, the true freshman for North Carolina, getting his first start after Davenport went down in the opener for the Tar Heels.
Next week on College Football Saturday, plenty of great action. We'll start it off with Navy taking on Sean King and the Green Wave of Tulane. Then at 7, the Rice Owls meet Heisman candidate Ricky Williams and the Longhorns. And we end it all, a Big 12 showdown as Darrell Bush leads Baylor against number 15 Colorado. Check local listings for the games in your area. Here we're finishing our Saturday with a Big 10, Pac-10 battle. Iowa looking for their second win of the year. First down, 49-yard line. McCann, deep, double coverage, almost caught by Khalil Hill, and then he got sandwiched out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. Leland Gales, Rafael Jones teaming up to put the hurt on the intended receiver. Second down.
And Rafael Jones at free safety has great depth. This is a perfect ball by McCann. It's about a 55-yard fade, and watch, the ball is right on the money. And McCann did not keep his eye trained on that free safety. Too much depth by number 1. And Rafael Jones delivered a big hit at the end of that play on Hill.
You know, before tonight, McCann had made some good decisions. He had not thrown an interception.
Hey, he can make all the throws. I am really impressed by the way he's playing tonight.
He's going to handle the blitz here. The line picks it up well. Same play nearly. Overthrows the intended receiver, Kevin Casper. And taking the hurt again is the quarterback. You know, last week, Arizona, they put a lot of hurries on the Stanford quarterback, but couldn't quite get to him.
Well, they haven't been able to quite get to McCann here in the second quarter. They had some success as we look at the numbers for Kyle McCann here in the first half. They had some success early, the Arizona defensive front, in getting to McCann, but now that Iowa offensive line doing a great job of picking up the stunts, sealing the pocket off, and McCann has had time to deliver the ball downfield.
Those adjustments that Paul Sunderland was talking about paying off, and McCann will spend one of his timeouts.
Iowa, their final timeout.
That is the final Hawkeye timeout. 2:43 remaining in the half, and the Hawkeyes down by 11, 14-3. 2 touchdowns by Trung Candidate, in case you're joining us late, has Arizona on top. And the first one was set up on a great short pass to Northcutt. We both thought he was going to go in, but he got caught deep down in Iowa territory.
Now, this was a great play call. The blitz by Iowa. Keith Smith deals off the wide receiver screen, and Northcutt, a decisive move up the middle of the field. I really thought he was going to take this to the house. Free safety Matt Bowen got back, actually created a fumble, and then you see Candidate up and over the top in full house backfield. Smith taking a rest here in the second quarter. Ortiz Jenkins, his counterpart, coming into the game, and Arizona been slowed down a little bit on offense in the second quarter.
The quarterback combo has worked. However, Dick Tomey would like to name a starter by week number 5 when Arizona goes up to Seattle to play Washington. So this will continue next week against San Diego State in California.
Both quarterbacks have had so much success. You look at Ortiz Jenkins a year ago, 19 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Keith Smith, you know, going back 2 years, a great quarterback play from him. And Dick Tomey says, I want to give them plenty of chances to show what they can do.
McCann breaking down, and down he goes. Eli Winek, 6'2", 240, freshman from Glendale, Arizona. That's his second sack of the season.
Yeah, you only want to give this Arizona defense a limited number of obvious passing situations. Eli Winek, 91, you saw him at the bottom of the screen. He just keeps on coming. His motor's running. A relentless pass rush from the bottom there, on the coming off the edge on the left end. And that's just pure heart and soul.
And Arizona nearly turns the trick in blocking the punt. It'll be downed at the 26-yard line. 31-yard punt. McAllister, he can do so many things well. Explosive, really on both sides of the ball, and he nearly got this punt.
Well, Dick Tomey yesterday, he tipped us off. He said, we're going to focus on getting a punt blocked by Chris McAllister. He's done it before. He's blocked some field goals, and he just overshot that one. McAllister was there to block the punt. He just ran past the punter. Iowa very fortunate not to give up another big play in the special teams area.
Now McAllister does not have a block, but he did tip a punt in Hawaii in game number 1. And he almost had another there. Jenkins now with 2 minutes remaining. He has time and timeouts. How do the two quarterbacks compare so far? Go inside the numbers, Dave Norrie.
Dead ball. Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That is only the second delay a game all year with this new offense. Smith and Jenkins.
Back on the clock. 2-0.
Here you're looking at that comparison as it gives some time to the referee to sort things out. You look at the QB comparison. Keith Smith really had his success on that opening drive, hitting his first 3 balls. And Jenkins has not been on fire here in the second quarter. Arizona having trouble moving the ball. Not a lot of success, particularly in the passing game.
Yeah, they scored on 4 or 5 possessions when OJ was at the helm last week at the farm. Efon. Remember, Iowa does not have any timeout, so they can't stop the clock defensively if Arizona decides to go conservative. Matt Hughes, the leading tackler the last 2 years, put the wrap on Kelvin Efon.
And if I'm Hayden Fry, I'm thinking about calling a timeout or 2 here and leave Kyle McCann some time. Actually, double checking that with our statistician. And no timeouts left. So
no timeouts.
Dick Tomey just content here to work on the clock and head into the locker room with a 14-3 lead.
Their final timeout.
Well, they let the play clock run down to the final second, and then Ortiz Jenkins calls the timeouts.
Look at Hayden Fry. They're working with this young offensive players, Yamini and McCann. He is one of the most positive people I've seen in the game of college football. Really, I have tremendous respect for this man, and he is really one of the truly special individuals in this game.
And we've mentioned it, he has a very young team, but Hayden Fry is optimistic about his Hawkeyes.
Well, we're going through a lot of growing pains. We've got 15 new starters from last year on offense and defense. Out of the 22, 15 of them are first-year starters, and they're making mistakes. And but some of the young guys have a lot of talent, a lot of ability. It's just a matter of time till we put it together.
Yeah, not too much time. If you watch you never think, Billy, looking at the scoreboard tonight, 3 points on the board for Iowa. Hayden Fry has had a lot more success with his offense than indicated. If we look at the active coaches, Division I, Hayden Fry, number 4 all-time. Dick Tomey, number 9. It's a lot of victories.
Hayden Fry actually has coached more games than Joe Paterno. But Joe in Happy Valley, more victories, reaching that 300 plateau last week. Candidate guns it to the outside. He'll stop and go again out to the 29-yard line. He really has a couple of different gears that he has shown us in this first half. Raj Clark tacks on another tackle to his stats, and 1 minute to play, and Arizona content now with this 14-3 lead in the first half.
The Arizona fans probably wondering, why isn't our team putting the ball up in the air? But Dick Tomey, I think this is sound strategy. Even though you have more than a minute go in the first half, Arizona lucky to be leading by 11 points. Tomey wants to take all 11 points of that lead into the locker room.
Keep it on the ground. Efon has the rock and has a first down. Clock will stop. 34 seconds left and a play or two, and they could be in field goal position.
Now you might want to think about getting up in the line of scrimmage. You're on the 36-yard line. You're not backed up against your own goal line. We might see Ortiz Jenkins take a crack or two down the field here with 30 seconds and running in the first half.
No, that's not the tune they're playing right here. They're taking their time. Although first down, clock down to 20. Ortiz in and out of the hands. Incomplete. Manu Malauna, the intended receiver, the 6'2", 286-pound sophomore. Remember, in just a matter of moments, our Marriott halftime report. Kellen Winslow and Kevin Frazier in our College Football Saturday studios. All the scores, all the highlights, all the stories from another great day. Could be the last play of the half. 15 seconds, second down. Ortiz going long. Incomplete. That's pretty good defensive play. Thigpen, Thorpe Award candidate from Dalton, Illinois. Jeremy McDaniel was the intended receiver. Thigpen has really been hampered and slowed by a hamstring and a groin. That only veteran starter in the backfield.
Now, this is a nice play call. Arizona's going to line 3 wide receivers up to the bottom on the left side. And boy, Thigpen might have gotten away with a pass interference call there. It looked like he made some contact early. But Arizona lining 3 wideouts to the left side and letting McDaniel go free down the right side. Ortiz Jenkins almost hooking up on a big play just before the half.
On second thought, I thought you might be right. And they will run things out on third down, and that'll do it for the half. Flags are down to end the half as tempers flare a bit away from the tackle. Let's sort this out quickly before we leave back to our College Football Saturday studio.
Now, this has been a hard-fought game, a very contentious game, and Iowa is still very much in this football game. 14-3. I think the Hawkeyes could easily have a lead if they had eliminated the penalties in the first half. And they're probably going to hear about it from Hayden Fry.
After the play, personal foul, offense, 15 yards from the end of the run, 4th down.
And we will have to run another play in the half. Gentleman Jim is getting a lot of airtime.
Arizona is just going to go to a knee here. A second left on the clock. That personal foul call, neither here nor there. And Keith Smith, we're going to see Smith again. He'll come into this game certainly for the 4th quarter. And the rhythm, the program for Arizona has been one guy starts, the other guy plays the 2nd and 3rd quarter, and then the starter re-enters for the 4th quarter.
30 minutes complete here at Arizona Stadium, Tucson, Arizona. And the score, Arizona 14, Iowa 3. Time now to go to our College Football Saturday studio and our Marriott halftime report and Kevin Frazier. Arizona on top at the half, 14-3 over Iowa. Bill McDonald back along with David Norrie. A lot of big plays in that first half, but none bigger than the ones made by Dennis Northcutt of Arizona.
Yeah, Dennis Northcutt was really the story in the first half. 4 big receptions, and the biggest reception he made was on the screen pass. Keith Smith catches Iowa in the blitz, and then Northcutt is gone down the field. A nice play by Matt Bowen, the strong safety, on a touchdown-saving tackle. Here we see Northcutt working on the fade up the field, ball perfectly delivered, and now Northcutt moving back to the ball on the curl route. He's shown the ability to make all the catches, and Northcutt definitely the biggest impact player in the first half for Arizona.
Northcutt and his offensive mates will have to watch as Iowa will get the ball to receive the second half. Stockdale and Hill will receive the kick. 14-3. Arizona looking to go 3-0 on the young season. They are 16th ranked in the latest polls. And once again, the ball off the tee. This was a problem we had earlier. And it's interesting to note the score easily could have been 17-14 Iowa. They had a touchdown called back and then an interception which was in and out of the hands of Jed Dull. He should have caught a ball inside the 10-yard line. Low line drive and out of the end zone. And before the first play, down to Paul Sunderland.
Well, Bill and David had a chance to talk with Iowa head coach Hayden Fry as he came back out onto the field, and he was very, very proud of his very young team. Thought they played exceptionally hard, but so disappointed by the missed opportunities and, of course, all of the penalties. The touchdown that was called back, the drop pass by the tight end that turned into a turnover. But he said something very interesting at the end. He said, hey, I think we can out-condition Arizona. He said, that may sound strange for a team coming from Iowa City to Tucson, but I think we're in better shape, so we're going to try to establish some physical dominance early. Back to you guys.
And in the paper today, that was what Arizona was talking about, that this would be their first real physical matchup of the year. And the first play of the second half is Liddell Betts had his moments in the first half, but pretty well kept in check by this Arizona defense.
You know, Billy, you mentioned the 2 quality drives by Iowa that came up with no points in the first half. The long touchdown pass by McCann to Yamini, called back on a holding call. Jed Dole's drop that turned into an interception. When you have a redshirt freshman quarterback, you only have so many drives, quality drives, in your bag of tricks for a game, and that's what I worry about. How many times can Kyle McCann lead this Iowa team down the field and yet not come up with points?
He will have a chance if the line will give it to him. That has been the downfall for this team, the letdown of the offensive line. And what a horrible time to spend a timeout less than a minute into the third quarter. McCann has to spend one, and we will spend one ourselves right here, and be back with more live football from Tucson in a minute. Just underway in the second half, 14-3 Arizona and David Noyer. Let's take a closer look at the statistics in the first half. Now we'll do that after this play. We will get to them. On second down after that quick timeout by McCann and the Hawkeyes. Betts, stop, go, down. Now the numbers, Dave.
We mentioned the big story in the first half, penalties. But you look at the first downs here, Iowa 10 first downs. They moved the ball very well in the first half. The rushing yards, definitely Arizona had the edge there. But you look at the average yards per play, Arizona 7.7. They really enjoyed an advantage in the first half, Billy, with big plays, especially the screen pass to Northcutt and then the touchdown run by Candidate.
Dennis Minishin, the best in the business, working out of Los Angeles, our statistician, and Ryan Eigenbrod, our spotter here tonight. He's a sophomore here at Arizona. Thank you to both of them. McCann, that's a route that they have run numerous times this evening. Leland Gales again. They're trying to work on the speed of Khalil Hill.
And Kyle McCann's going for too many low percentage balls down the field. I mean, on 3rd and 2, you got to go to a higher percentage pass than a deep fade ball. And Iowa has to start looking down to the intermediate and shorter routes. They're taking too many cracks down the field, and as a result, they're giving the ball right back to Arizona.
Is that his call, or is that his option? As we look at the fair catch at the 40-yard line.
Well, it's his option within the passing game to drop down to a secondary receiver. He's taken the first choice too often, and that first choice usually has been a fade ball down the field.
Well, Smith started, Jenkins played the second quarter, and Jenkins starts the third quarter. How do both of these quarterbacks react to it? We asked them.
We definitely help each other out a ton.
He helps me off the field, I help him off the field, and we help each other working together.
We do a really good job of communicating on the sideline, and we're not trying to go against each other. We're trying to help this team win, and we're doing whatever it takes.
We're like one big two-headed quarterback. We have different styles and we play differently, but we both need the job done. So our relationship is really good.
And this is the same rotation that they used in the conference opener. It was the first conference opening win since 1994 when they beat Stanford. There's Keith Smith. He played the first quarter. And now O.J. Ortiz-Jenkins gets the work. He was 2 out of 6, just 34 yards. Was saddled with a lot of 3rd and longs in that second quarter.
Yeah, with Iowa and the defensive front having success against the run, Ortiz-Jenkins is going to have to put the ball up to loosen this Iowa Hawkeye defense.
Once again, the Hawkeyes won first down, so on 2nd and 12, the quick out. Jeremy McDaniels, pretty good run after catch to gain an extra 6 yards or so. Jeremy, who sat out all of last year with a thigh bruise, he was remarkable in that he is also a great blocker. David. In fact, he delivered a couple of pancake blocks last week in their game.
Yeah, McDaniel led the team in receptions back in 1996, and it's so nice at the quarterback position to be able to just throw the ball outside on a hitch and get the running ability that you have with Northcutt and McDaniel.
Third down out of the gun. Ortiz. He's going to get tripped up. Well, they really contained him well. Matt Bowen, the hardest hitter in the backfield, a former quarterback. He played as well as anyone the first 2 games from the defensive back position. He cut down the quarterback. It's 4th down.
Now, he made that big play in the first half, running down Northcutt on the screen pass, and another big play to turn the ball back to his offense. That's a great tackle out in the open field by Matt Bowen. He's one of the biggest hitters you'll see at the strong safety position in the Big Ten this year.
There's your 5th best punt returner in the country. 28-7 coming in, Khalil Hill, and a touchdown. Flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Fair catch. 38 yards. It was 4th down and 5. If for some reason this would be against Iowa, it might be enough for a first down, but it's against Arizona. And I would think that they might punt it again.
Hayden Fry holding his breath over on the sidelines. You're absolutely right. If that's offsides on Iowa, which it wasn't, but if it's offsides, Hayden Fry saying, hey, we just kept an Arizona drive alive.
And we have got a weapon in Khalil Hill, so let's give him another chance.
And Hayden signaling to his team, let's make him punt it over.
Illegal formation, 6 men on the line. Offense.
That's the way to open a season.
Penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
That was the game that was so close through the first half, and then just blown out. Iowa did a job on Central Michigan in the second half.
Now, Khalil Hill scored the very first time he touched the ball as a Hawkeye on that 62-yard punt return. He's the first Hawkeye in Iowa history to score on a kickoff return and a punt return in the same game. Iowa football goes back a long ways. 7
penalties on the Wildcats. Hill now back at his 20. The punter is Springston. And again, Hill unable to return. So some good hang time delivered by Springston. 40-yard punt, no return. Arizona holding the lead over Iowa. During the break, the Arizona defense trying to get this sellout crowd revved up. Many of them dressed in red. 14-3, Arizona over Iowa. Kyle McCann up and down, although he has had his moments. The excellent basketball player, translating a lot of that vision talent onto the football field. On the delay, too much of a delay, and Marcus Bell read it well. He is making the transition from being a compliment to Chester Burnett to being the guy at linebacker.
Now we're going to train our eyes right here on the middle linebacker, Marcus Bell. Setting up. He's not going to give away the blitz too early. He comes in that center guard gap. And he brings down Betts in the backfield. You know, when you go up against an aggressive attacking defense like this Arizona defense, McAllister sitting out for a play or two. You go up against an attacking defense like the Wildcat defense, you're going to have some plays get canceled in the backfield.
That's your best cover guy on the bench. Let's see if they exploit it. McCann, he's got a wide open receiver. Caught at the 50. Casper down to the 23-yard line. 62 huge Hawkeye yards, and they're in business deep in Wildcat territory. David Norrie, what happened? Either somebody was ticketed with the wrong assignment or someone fell down. He was open by 20 yards.
No, that was a great pump fake by McCann and Casper on the out and up. Casper's going to run an out and up, the half roll to the left, the pump fake, and it was kind of a half-hearted pump fake, but enough to get a result. And Rafael Jones, the free safety, that was Kelvin Hunter, the cornerback that got beat, but Rafael Jones took the bite as well.
Hunter bit all the bait and more. Back to the ground. Cut back, Betts. He's strong, but Marcus Bell plugged the hole along with with James Lewis.
When you're a wide receiver like Casper on that last play, it seems like an eternity when you're waiting for that football to get there. He has wide open by about 15 yards, a nice sell on the out and up. And that's the type of play that Iowa needs to get back in this game and get some momentum as a team, especially the offensive line.
Now McAllister, the report is it's a hamstring, but he's in the game, playing the wide side corner. Over the middle. Complete at the 5-yard line, and they beat McAllister. Bashir Yamini, 16 yards. First down and goal for the Hawkeyes.
Tremendous work up front by the Iowa offensive line. Look at him, body on body, jersey on jersey, creating a nice little pocket. The movement to the left by McCann, feeling his way to the left, and then a nice ball. He placed it low. Yamini going to the ground to make the catch. And McCann and this offensive line starting to build up momentum.
They've had trouble running. Last week, this week, they try the middle, maybe a yard. Michael Berger. He's been around for a while in this program, 6'3" and a senior.
And Michael Berger has started every game since the middle of his freshman year. And watch the reaction by Hayden Fry here. And he loads up in the backfield with 3 backs, and he wants more press. He wants more punch from his offensive line and those 2 big fullbacks lining up in front of the tailback. And you don't see Hayden Fry get that excited very often. Actually, what he wants, I see it right now, he wanted Berger to cut that play back up inside. He's upset at the ball carrier, Michael Berger.
A Wildcat is down. It's LaShaw Rich, the senior safety.
Now this has turned into a physical football game. A lot of people thought that Iowa would just walk into Arizona and get bullied by the Wildcats. That has not been the case. Iowa has been up to the task, and if McCann can finish off this drive, it's going to get real tight here in a hurry.
Trevor Bowlers is in the game. He'll be in the backfield. McCann is 12 for 24, 193 yards, and an interception.
Watch for play action.
McCann, the middle, nothing. Rob Tyne tried. Daniel Greer pushed him back. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
That's Hayden Fry being a little stubborn there. I mean, 2 times he lines up with a full house backfield. He doesn't get the play he wants on the first down call. He goes right back to it, and he doesn't gain positive yardage. Now you put your redshirt freshman in an obvious passing situation.
I'll tell you who I like for Iowa, Wheatley, Austin Wheatley. He's got some big play potential. He's set up right side tight end.
And Arizona looking pass here.
Play action. McCann. Incomplete. And who did they want? Wheatley.
Yeah, he wanted Wheatley, but the problem was all 11 Arizona defenders knew this was play action. Look at the sell. It's a good fake, but Arizona knows it's coming. And you look at number 1, Rafael Jones makes a great play at the free safety position.
How about this? We've got 8 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter, and they're going for it. 4th and goal. Everybody up. McCann in trouble. Hit. Down he goes. Bell with the play. What about foregoing the 3 for the touch?
I don't like going for it on 4th down here. Wow, what a hit by Bell.
Ouch.
And Dick Tomey's going to get fired up right here. That's right. Yeah, they're going to go for it on 4th down. I didn't like the call there, Billy. You go for the field goal, you cut the lead to 14-6.
That's 1 score.
And you put the freshman in 2 obvious passing situations.
But now the Hawkeye defense this is an important series for them, albeit still in the third quarter, to get the ball back in decent field position.
Yeah, and Hayden Fry is one of the best play callers in the history of the Big Ten. I mean, he was one of the guys that took the Big Ten away from the 3 yards in a cloud of dust in the late 70s and early 80s. But I didn't like the play calling. I don't like going to full house backfield after you've had success on the drive, passing the football, and then you put McCann in 2 back-to-back obvious passing situations.
Ortiz Jenkins is the quarterback for U of A. Second down. E5. It'll be third down and long. Let's go quickly to our College Football Saturday studio for an update with Kevin Frazier.
Guys, USC and Oregon State. The second half kickoff lands in the hands of Tim Alexander, and the former option quarterback won't stop till he gets enough. A huge seam. Remember, Oregon State hasn't won a Pac-10 game since October of '96. They're in the mix here, and I bet David Norrie, being a former Bruin, really doesn't mind that USC in a little trouble right now, Billy Mack.
Hey, I'm supposed to walk that fine line. I'm supposed to
Kevin, I'm not touching that one. On third down. Throw incomplete. Late flag. Oh, extremely tardy on the flag. That'll draw the ear of the Hawkeye coaches. McDaniel. I think he got mugged by Holman.
Well, he gets mugged early by Holman. The question is, was this ball even anywhere in the realm of being catchable? He pushed him out of bounds definitely when the ball was in the air, but that was not a very good ball by Ortiz Jenkins.
And a new set of downs. That ice bag belongs to quarterback McCann.
Yeah, I think McCann's going to still go. He's shown a lot of toughness, a lot of poise, and the last 3 drives, McCann has led his team down the field with excellent opportunities to come away with touchdown on each of them, and they've come up with no points going.
Glad you're with us. Third quarter, 14-3 Arizona. Fresh set of downs as mentioned. And all of a sudden, the run defense, which got chewed up last week by Darren Davis. He ran circles around this Iowa defense. They are coming down and playing right now. Sadat and Aaron Klein combined to make the stop.
6 minutes and counting here in the third quarter, and Iowa getting on the verge of wasting a great effort by their defensive line and their offensive line. They've gone toe-to-toe with the Wildcats all night long.
Ortiz Jenkins began last season as a wide receiver. The number 3 quarterback took over after the first play, second half, the UCLA game. Hit as he throws, going long. McDaniel got it. McDaniel down at the 2. Play OJ, 77 to Jeremy McDaniel. It's first and goal.
Now this is just taking advantage of speed and route running ability. Bowen gets sucked up on the fake. McDaniel straight down the field on the post route. And I'm telling you, this was a great throw by Ortiz Jenkins. He got cleaned up in the backfield by the big defensive lineman, Ed Sadat, but he stayed into the last second and delivered a perfect ball.
3 in the backfield. E5 going for the flag. Touchdown, Wildcats.
You remember the touchdown run back in the first half by candidate Yusuf Scott, the big guard, number 72, right there. He got the big block to spring candidate in the first half, and watch him again. I mean, he's just going to flatten his responsibility on the outside there. Great block, and Ethan just walks into the end zone.
And what a stunning turn of events for Iowa. At the other end, they are stopped on 4 downs short of the goal line, and the big 77-yard play sets up the Efon touchdown, and Arizona now bolting out to a 21-3 lead. Kelvin Efon and his cat mates looking good. 37-yard bomb from Ortiz Jenkins. In essence now, in 2 minutes, a 14-point switch. Iowa on the verge of scoring. Arizona, with help of a big third down penalty, came all the way back and scored a touchdown. Let's go to our College Football Saturday studio again for another update with Kevin Frazier.
Guys, what a day of college football that we've had right here on the net. Game 1 of our quadruple header featured the Army's first ever Conference USA game. The Cadets beat Cincinnati 37-20. Game 2, Dante Hall scores 2 times. Texas A&M knocks off Southern Miss. And then in our third game, Kevin Miller beats Carolina as time runs out. Next week, Stanford takes on Oregon. Let's go back to Arizona.
Thank you, Kevin. And another game that was on our sister station, FX. UCLA beat up on Houston, but suffered a big injury. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Incomplete. In that game, Freddie Mitchell, the outstanding all-purpose freshman, went down with what appears to be
LaPorte, Texas. How you doing? I love
a season-ending injury.
Represent them. Yeah,
Scoring drive brought to you by Buick. 5 plays, 91 yards. Ifan, a 2-yard run.
And Joseph Scott, the big right guard right here, is going to make the difference on this touchdown run. Watch him pull out. 337 pounds, and he gets some movement, I'm telling you. I mean, Ifan just a walk in the park. Lay the football down and tack on 6.
337 pounds. That's before breakfast. McCann said, go, Liddell Betts, go. And Betts trying the middle of the Arizona line.
Still plenty of time, 5 minutes and counting. We move down on the end of here, the third quarter. And, you know, if Iowa isn't able to rally in this game, and they still have plenty of time, by the way, but if they're not able to rally, I think they've found a quarterback tonight. I have been impressed all night long with the play of Hayden Fry's young quarterback. And take a look at the third down conversions.
They face a third down and a long 6. McCann, quick drop. That's a tough throw. That's a really tough throw with a couple of hands in your face. The intended receiver is Khalil Hill, who has been blanketed all evening long, and a good defensive series for the Arizona Wildcats. And the crowd roars its approval.
Give a lot of credit to this Arizona Wildcat defense. Turnovers, a big stop down at the goal line. They've turned the momentum of this football game.
They held Stanford to 60 net yards last week. Northcutt at the 35, still on his feet, then tripped up at the 32. 41-yard punt. Minimal return. DJ Johnson the tackle. Paul Sunderland has something down on the sideline. Sunday.
Well, Bill, been keeping a very close watch on Kyle McCann, the young quarterback for Iowa, after he took that vicious hit by Marcus Bell. Now, I know David enjoys the thought of, well, he probably doesn't enjoy the thought of a quarterback getting his bell rung, but this was certainly one. But he has recovered pretty nicely. Problem, though, is on his left hand. He's taken a real beating tonight. Got to watch for that in the quarterback exchange. Then on the defensive side for Arizona, Chris McAllister, you mentioned that he had a hamstring problem. Yeah, good news is it's not torn, it's not strained. He's suffering from cramp. So some good news and bad news from the Arizona side. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Paul. One in the backfield, first down at the 33. Third quarter action. Candidate. Look at him bust up the hole out to midfield. Shrug Candidate, 17 yards, tackled by Bowen and Thigpen. You know, when Candidate is healthy, he is productive. 8 games last year, 100 yards average per.
And watch the big offensive line. We're going to see some pulling action here out to the right. And Trunk Candidate is going to use his patience and his cutback ability. There's number 72, Scott, getting another block. And Candidate taking advantage.
Coming off the stress fracture. Trunk Candidate. He finds the same hole as he cuts back for good first down yardage. There is Chuck Long, now the quarterback coach.
And Chuck Long, you look look back at his unbelievable career, 82 through 85, took the Iowa Hawkeyes to the Rose Bowl in the 1985 year. It was a 1986 Rose Bowl game. Second in the Heisman race and first-round pick to the Detroit Lions.
And you were scheduled to square off against him in a Rose Bowl game, weren't you?
Well, I was a starting quarterback for UCLA that year, and leg injuries kept me out of that ball game, but I was fired up about going up against Chuck Long going into that January 1st Classic.
You did get a chance to be his teammate, though. Here's a reverse. Dennis Northcutt, up the middle he goes, down to the 32-yard line. And now this explosive Arizona offense is teeing off 11 yards to Rig Holman to stop.
Well, watch Northcutt. He's going to come back across the grain. Dick Tomey just wants to get the ball in the hands of Northcutt and McDaniel every chance he can. They're difference makers. I mean, these guys, every time they touch the football, they're a threat to pick up a big game. And you always give yourself a chance to break the big one for a touchdown as well. Northcutt, and last year, he proved to be one of the biggest wideouts in terms of his playmaking ability on the West Coast and maybe across the country.
Ortiz Jenkins threw a block, so did McDaniel. Ortiz going for another touchdown. In and out of the hands of Jeremy McDaniel.
Wow.
Incomplete.
Bell getting cleaned up, patched up.
Now, that was just a straight fade route. And Ortiz Jenkins had exactly what he wanted. Ortiz Jenkins takes the selection, and that ball is perfectly thrown. I mean, you can't deliver a fade route any better than that. And McDaniel's just got to make that play. And if I'm a quarterback, I'm going to react negatively to this. I'm going to get back in the huddle, but Ortiz says, hey, we'll get him next time.
Pitch it on second down. Candidate. You know, you mentioned it earlier, David. He has got so much patience. He can either get it and bang, go right into the hole, or if the play calls for him to feel things out and look for it, really could take his time and find a little bit of a seam.
The candidate's working in the backfield with Ortiz Jenkins, the quarterback. Keith Smith says, hey, he turns a 15-yard gain in about 1 second. Look at this career average. And almost 6 yards a carry career for Trung Candidate. Now that's why you got an experienced big stable of backs at Arizona, but Dick Tomey, he pretty much wants to stick with Candidate, and I think it's a smart decision.
Mr. Clutch, Ortiz Jenkins steps out of a tackle, has to throw it, delivers. A little short hop. Northcutt was out there. No such luck on that attempt. There is a flag down at the 31-yard line. See if the Cats get another chance. Otherwise, it'll be a fourth down, and definitely it appears as though it's stretching field goal territory.
Once again, this Iowa defense gets a look at the running ability of these Arizona quarterbacks. That's an illegal man downfield for Arizona. One of the linebackers wandering down the field more than 3 yards past the line of scrimmage, and they get hit with the flag. But now this Iowa defense, they've done a pretty good job of hemming in the quarterbacks, Keith Smith and Ortiz Jenkins tonight, and that's something that you always have to worry about with these two.
Well, talking to their defensive...
It's Pac-10 football. You want to come play, baby? You got to bring the hat. You got to bring the hat, baby.
Well, Trump talks, we listen. But you talked about it. That was one of the questions. There had been no pressure given the defensive line on the opposing quarterbacks. So what do? Do you give a rush, or do you just play to contain? And it's really a fine line you have to walk if you're a defensive coordinator against an Arizona team.
Well, Iowa's done a pretty good job against the run tonight. They've given up a couple big plays to Candidate, but I've been impressed with Iowa coming back off the Iowa State game. They've wanted, to answer your question, Billy, they've wanted to stay in zone defense tonight so that the linebackers didn't have to worry about man-to-man pass secondary requirements, and they could sit in and defense that run, not worry about their man-to-man responsibilities when backs come out of the backfield in the passing game.
A delay of game. You know, you talk about gambling coaches. This is a kind of a situation where Tomey has been known to throw in a fake. The pride of Jordan High School in Long Beach, Ortiz Jenkins. What a year he had. Pac-10 freshman record, 19 touchdowns last season.
I think Arizona might have wanted to take a delay of game penalty there to get another 5 yards of working room for their punter. And Hayden Fry, with the ball so close to the Iowa end zone, said, hey, we'll give you the 5 yards.
We'll see if Hill gets an opportunity to return this one. Springston, will he go corner? Just a minute and a half remaining. Third quarter. Little pooch punt. And it's into the end zone. Bell was down there, couldn't collect. It's hardcore football on Fox Sports Net. Ronnie Lott, Bill Moss, and Ronnie Pitts bring you Turf Talk from the toughest guys in the NFL. Hardcore X's and O's, hardcore blood, sweat, and tears. Hardcore football for the hardcore fan. It's hardcore football. Tuesday at 8 on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. Full house tonight in Tucson.
And Billy, I'm going to get home early tomorrow morning, get in front of my television set, and I'm going to watch both games at 10 o'clock Pacific time start, and then the 1 o'clock game. NFL all Sunday long.
Hardcore football for David Norn. Complete out of the backfield, Betts. That's something they have not utilized up until then. Rafael Jones, that stopped 20 yards. Liddell Betts, good first down. You know, he lost a little confidence last week after a really nice opening effort against Central. He and everybody else took a couple of steps back against the Cyclones.
Yeah, he had a couple touchdown runs against Central Michigan and a touchdown run last week against Iowa State. Keith Smith receiving some words from upstairs, but Iowa really needs this drive. There's still enough time, but they got to come away with a score right now.
And they won't do it with drops. Yamini coming up on a handful of drops. Keith Smith and his buddy Ortiz Jenkins helping each other out. Keith will play quarter number 4. Well, what a dilemma. What a sweet dilemma for Dick Toman. It's just a whole new era of football in Arizona with all this offense. McCann, on the other hand, for Iowa, 13 of 29, over 200 yards, an interception, and 3 passes dropped. Second down, hit as he throws, complete. Lots of room for Betts. First down and more. Across midfield, keeps his feet. Betts still on his feet down to the 30-yard line. Good effort by Betts, 28 yards.
And how about Kyle McCann? I mean, he has a ball dropped on first down by Yamini, a ball absolutely that should have been caught. He comes right back. He's unflustered, unflappable in the words of Hayden Fry, and that's not an easy throw. You think that ball out in the flat is just an easy ball to be completed every time. It's not, especially when you're facing heat. And how about Liddell Betts making Chris McAllister miss?
Right through the arm tackle of a possible number 1 NFL draft pick in Chris McAllister.
Great effort by Betts.
Betts and Berger in the backfield. There's that pump fake. McCann will step up and dump off to Berger. That'll be a loss of yardage. Eli Winnick and Deshaun Polk. Both are there for the Arizona defense. Second down, Hayden Fry talking to Khalil Hill, getting the play called.
And Hayden Fry knows that McCann missed Yamini coming across the field. McCann with a big pump fake down the field to clear things in the middle of the field. And he had Yamini. He just used a little bit too much energy on that fake and couldn't get himself set to deliver the football.
Half a minute to play, third quarter. Iowa in a must-score drive. Here comes the heat. And here comes the sack. Fourth sack, Marcus Bell. His second.
Now Iowa's going to have to do something in their protection scheme to take care of Marcus Bell. Here he is one more time, and you can't let Marcus Bell come free time and time again. And he's coming in that slot just to the left of the center guard slot. That's the third time we've seen Marcus Bell come through untouched. And I'm telling you, Kyle McCann's getting a little tired of it.
Leland Gales got in on a little contact during the quarterback sack. And Leland Gales is the injured Arizona Wildcat being attended to at midfield. 10 seconds remaining, third quarter, and it's third down and long for Iowa. Now, Baseball Thursday follows Big Mac Mark McGuire in his race for the home run record. He's already got the record. He wants to add to it and keep it as the Cardinals host the Expos at Busch. Or some of you will see the Rangers as they battle the Angels, though they are battling for it as they visit Junior and the Mariners. It's all coming up this Thursday on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings for the game in your area, and good news for Gales walking off.
Wow, Texas has really turned things around in that AL West race. Billy, Rangers.
Yeah, as we speak tonight. Yeah, a 2-game lead over the Angels coming into today. But those teams meet for 3 next week. Big night for Marcus. He's coming off of a 10-tackle effort at Stanford, and another big game here in the home opener for Arizona. 3 chapters written in this one. Down in the desert, Tucson, Arizona. 2 great conferences colliding. We go to the fourth quarter with the Wildcats leading 21-3. As we are about to begin the fourth quarter here in Tucson, our nightcap college football Saturday on Fox Sports Net. Bill McDonald, David Norrie. As well as Arizona is playing, I think it's really a story of missed opportunities also for Iowa.
Yeah, big turnarounds early in the first half. Iowa comes down the field. They get a touchdown pass, called back on a holding call. Arizona marches the length of the field. And then in the second half, the 4th down call at the goal line. Iowa turned away. Arizona comes right back and scores to take a 21-3 lead.
And on third down, Jed Dull, the completion. And Scooter Sprott, who already has a huge play with an interception in this game, stops him well short of the first down, and it was Dull who missed on the pass completion earlier in the game that Sprott jumped on for that big interception. 4th down. And Jason Baker will boot it away again. Oh, it's a fake. Caught and stopped. Well, they needed to get down to the 22-yard line. Jeremy Allen, the reception. Scooter Sprott was there and smelled that one out easily. And now Arizona will take control near midfield.
Yeah, this is a big roll of the dice, but what do you do? I mean, you're down 21-3. You're into the fourth quarter. That was a drive that Iowa desperately needed. And to pull the ball down, and Scooter Sprott, number 6, a great job on special teams. You know, Sprott, Billy, has been all over the field tonight. He came up with the big interception on the deflection over the middle. I really like the intensity of number 6 in blue tonight.
The quarterback is Smith. That's McDaniel. First down. Trunk candidate has had a big night, David Norrie.
Yeah, big night is an understatement.
Give the ball.
We look down on the first touchdown going over the pile. That was after the big screen play to Northcutt. And look at the move there on Matt Bowen. Actually, that was Matt Bowen trailing. Holman was the guy who had the move late on him. And then Yusuf Scott, the right guard, working outside. Kelvin Ethan picking up the touchdown on that sweep play. But candidate has been as good as advertised tonight.
Yeah, not eye-popping yardage, but effective. McDaniel again with the reception. And Matt Bowen the stop along with DJ Johnson. Now, Iowa, they were angry after last week's loss to Iowa State, and it appears as though they're going to come up short, although still 13-26, and they have shown the ability to strike. They just haven't been able to get in. That was Chris McAllister on his back. Second down. Smith quickly, one-on-one coverage. Caught. Northcutt, touchdown. receptions, 157 yards does Dennis Northcutt, and the score.
Now that's a quarterback's dream. Keith Smith did not deliver a very good ball at all on that fade route, and it was all Northcutt. The ball was delivered short. It was delivered to the outside. Northcutt pirouetted and made a great move after the catch.
McDonald, the extra point. It's a happy time to be a Wildcat. And Keith Smith, the touchdown pass.
Smith's going to want to take Northcutt out for a hamburger after this game. Keith Smith, this is going to be just a quick drop, three-step drop, get the fade up. The ball's going to be underthrown by about 3 yards. But Northcutt working against a true freshman, number 33, DJ Johnson, not only makes a catch over the wrong shoulder, a great move, and a baptism by fire for a true freshman cornerback.
This one again will not be returned. Let's go to our College Football Saturday studio for an update and Kevin Frazier.
Carrier Dome against Syracuse late, and then they pull an overtime win against the Gators. At Tennessee, all of a sudden looking like a national championship candidate.
And Kevin is right. They are loving that at UCLA and Kansas State. Those two schools will definitely benefit by Florida losing. Scoring drive, our Buick scoring drive, 3 plays, 59 yards, just over a minute.
What's up, Brian? What's up, Jenny, Devin? How you doing? Northcutt, I know you're in the stand. What's up? What's up,
44-yard touchdown.
What's up, baby? How y'all doing?
That's longer than an Academy Award speech.
I was just going to say that sounded like an Oscar acceptance
we
speech.
started the music on him there. Second down. And distance. McCann play action. That ball took an awfully long time to get there, and it enabled Kelvin Hunter to come over to knock it away.
Kyle McCann has delivered a couple balls late tonight, but I really like his accuracy. I like the fact that he sits in the pocket and he waits for things to develop downfield. He's going to develop that timing, Billy, as the season goes on. He's going to get those throws up a count earlier, and I have no questions about his talent and the skill of his arm. I think he's going to be a star in the Big Ten.
And he's going to get as much time as possible from Hayden Fry, even in a game one-sided right now at 28-3. McCann tries the other side and complete to Khalil Hill for a first down. Paul Sunderland's got something downstairs.
Well, you've already shown a replay of that last touchdown and a great adjustment by the wideout. But as Keith Smith came off the field, you've already talked a lot about the chemistry between these two quarterbacks, Keith Smith and Ortage Jenkins. Jenkins was the first player to come off the Arizona bench and go down and congratulate his counterpart, Keith Smith. So certainly it's not just for show. These two quarterbacks really work well together and support one another, good or bad. And right now it's all good. Back to you guys.
It is all good to be a quarterback. Khalil Hill, 15 yards on that catch. He was a product of a great prep program in Iowa. Pump fake, now going down the middle. Good play. Cross midfield down to the 47-yard line. But let's go to Arizona on their side and see that comparison between Smith and Jenkins.
Yeah, Smith with the better numbers, and he really got Arizona off to the start on that first drive. He did give up an interception in the drive stall, but he set the tempo for Arizona as an offense. Jenkins with a big touchdown throw. Actually was a touchdown, but the throw to McDaniel down inside the 5-yard line. Both quarterbacks are going to continue to play, and as long as Arizona's that effective on offense, I think Tomey's going to stay with the 2-quarterback system. They both bring a lot of talent to the party, and I think they both help the team in different ways, coming in and spelling the other guy.
Out of his stance early for Iowa, Matt Rogers, the right tackle.
False start, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
6th penalty, totaling up to 52 yards.
Kyle McCann, a couple snaps earlier, hit a big-time ball down the middle on that dig route. Tomey thinking, hey, 28-3. We played very well tonight, but this easily could have been a closer game.
Intercepted. Hunter, now he's going to look for some blocks. good return.
Kelvin Hunter is a guy that's going to see a lot of balls this year with McAllister on the other side, and you don't get much better on an interception than that. Hunter playing the fade perfectly, and that's just a great catch. I mean, that's a talented corner playing on the other side of McAllister. Hunter was hurt, injured an ankle in the Inside.com bowl game last year. Missed spring as a result, but he's back in a big way, and he's been a little bit frustrated. Teams have gone after him early in the season. That's a nice interception on the outside.
Candidate goes one way. Looks like Marcus Allen in the Super Bowl. Down to the 26-yard line. That's a first down. Matt Hughes, he will, if he stays healthy, continue to be a force at linebacker for Iowa, and a much-needed one. A lot of congratulations all around for Arizona and their secondary work.
Hunter number 5 and Rafael Jones number 1. Jones hasn't had a bad night either, Billy.
Now on another first down attempt, Smith. And a look at Leon Callan. Flag thrown into the mix. Leon Callan, a 4.4 40 guy, missed all last season recovering from knee surgery. The sophomore from Pittsburgh, California. And then the extracurricular after the whistle. Boy, they opened up the cages and the Boo Birds went out. They might have caught the retaliation, kind of like a hockey fight.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, offense, 15 yards. Second down.
Yeah, keep an eye on 48, Lofton for Iowa. He's got a handful of face masks. He's holding his man down there. Yeah, and the retaliation there. That was Manuia Savea. Lofton frustrated, and I can understand why. I mean, that wasn't violent activity after the play there, but Iowa plenty to be frustrated about.
There's the run out of shotgun. Bursting up the middle is Callan. That is quickness. First down, 23 yards, straight up the gut.
Now, Leon Callan is a backup tailback for Arizona, but he has a talent to start for a lot of teams in the Pac-10. It's tough to break the lineup when you have Trump candidate playing in front of you. He's got that great burst of speed. Callan, you mentioned Billy, he's a 4.4 guy, and Arizona's offensive line is slowly taking control of this ball game.
And Callan is a sprinter on the UA track team. You know, since 1987, Arizona's only had 3 skill guys make all conference: Derek Hill, Chuck Levy, and Antoine Carter. They've got a whole bunch of them that could crack that in the next couple of years. Kelvin Ifan, the bruiser, gets a couple of yards. The pomp and circumstance of college football. 9.5 minutes to play in the 4th. Arizona on track to win their 7th game in a row.
Dick Tomey really has things going down in Arizona, and watch out for this Arizona program. Yeah, I talked about him before the start of the season as the dark horse candidate for the Rose Bowl, and if they can develop on defense, they have a great shot to go to Pasadena.
Talent. And when you speak of Pasadena, you speak of the promised land where they have never been. Arizona is the only Pac-10 school never to participate in the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day.
Wow. I mean, look at these yards rushing. 168 for Arizona. And Hayden Fry will look at those statistics after the game and say, we got a big game from Kyle McCann. We got a big game from our passing people. But rushing and rushing yardage, more specifically, was the story of this one.
Third down for Keith Smith. Leon Callan, the setback.
That's going to be a first down for Arizona. Hand off to Callan, trying to stretch this play to the outside. That might have been Anthony Herron, the defensive tackle for Iowa. All that's left to decide here is whether it's a 15-yarder or a 5-yarder.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty, 5 yards from the end of the run, first down.
And that answers your question. First down and goal. What should be 7 wins in a row. The school record is 9 in a row, set back in the mid-70s.
A couple big turnarounds in this game. A touchdown pass called back by Iowa. The 4th down call down at the goal line. Arizona stops the Hawkeyes both times. Arizona cashed those situations in for touchdowns, but you know, the rushing yards have been a big factor. And don't forget, last week Iowa gave up 247 yards to Darren Davis, the running back for Iowa State.
Just short. Ifan was the ball carrier. 2nd and goal, just short of the goal line.
Yeah, Ifan got turned around at the goal line, almost was credited for the touchdown. And this Arizona offensive line, you know, if they can continue to develop, Billy, if this offensive line becomes a dominant type unit and can consistently run the football, Arizona's going to be in the race in November.
Yeah, they'll go as far as both lines take them. Inside, handoff, touchdown, Kelvin Ifan. Drive was not only impressive, but it took up some time, and now only 7.5 and smiles on that Wildcat sideline. It's 34-3.
Yeah, look who's celebrating with Ifan. Ortiz Jenkins, he didn't lead the drive, but he's just as happy as the rest of the Wildcats, and they load up in that full house backfield. They're a tough team to stop down on the goal line.
Well, remember a couple of years ago when Brady Patton got a lot of playing time in a bowl game, it was because when he wasn't playing, he had a great attitude. And both of these quarterbacks keep that great attitude when they're not in the game. 35-3, Wildcats. That Kevin Frazier, I am not embarrassed to say it, the Halos are my team. Another look at the touchdown, David Norrie.
Arizona loading up with a full house backfield. Shields, Wendler, and watch Ifan go over the top. Candidate's a guy they like to use out in the field, and Ifan's the guy they put in those short yard situations. Tomey says, hey, we're going for one. Now this game is pretty much in the bag.
Let's introduce a new quarterback for Iowa. His name is Scott Mullen, with 7.5 to play. .6'6", Scott Mullen. And he wants to throw, and he's running for his life. Not a way to start. 2-yard loss at the 18. And we'll see some fresh faces on both sides of the ball. Barrett Baker, Arizona Wildcats.
You know, when you talked to Don Patterson yesterday, the offensive coordinator for Iowa, along with Hayden Fry, they said Mullen's a guy that down the line could be a very good quarterback as well. He's got big size. He's got a live arm. Hayden Fry went so far as to say he's got NFL potential, but you know, they got a real impressive quarterback on their hands in Kyle McCann. And McCann keeps playing the way he did tonight. He's going to a strong shot at keeping Mullen on the bench.
Throw incomplete. 3rd down upcoming. Manuel Golden on the corner coverage. Fox Sports News Primetime's your source for college football news. Who's making a run for the Heisman and what teams are moving up in the rankings, and there'll be a couple. Which contenders remained undefeated? We've got college football covered like nobody else. Fox Sports News Primetime tonight after the game. You check your local listings. Speaking of one to watch, number 95, left defensive end, Ben Alu. They're really excited about this freshman from Honolulu. He's putting on the rush. Wide open was Khalil Hill. They have just not been able to hook up with JD's son, Khalil. And it'll be 4th down.
Yeah, not a good throw there by Mullen, but he also needs Hill to gear down a little bit. If you're on a crossing route, you're free, you don't have a man locked on, you gear down for your quarterback, you make it an easier throw for him. Not good execution between quarterback and wide receiver.
Northcutt this time lets it fall at the 37-yard line. In control, the Arizona Wildcats. Many of the sellout crowd have already fled into the night. We hope you stay with us, though. 35-3. 35-3, and that young man is Edwin Mulatalo, our GTE Scholar player for this evening. He's a senior tackle, a special ed major, a rehabilitation minor. 3.0 GPA. 1997 Samoan All-Offensive by the Pacific Islander News. Edwin Mulatalo, our GTE Scholar player. Congratulations. Leon Callan. And we got a new quarterback for U of A. And it's number 14, Peter Hansen. Palo Alto, California, got away from the farm and out of the shadow of Stanford University. Look at that, 6'7". He's towering amongst all the linemen. It'll be 2nd down. You know who we failed to talk about, David, is Dino Babers, who's the new offensive coordinator. Quite a responsibility with all this talent at Arizona. More into him after this play. Callan, close to a 1st down. He takes over for Homer Smith in that department.
And Dick Tomey couldn't say enough about his young offensive coordinator the first year, and of course he takes over for Homer Smith, and Homer Smith really laid a foundation for this Arizona team offensively. Babers has picked it up. He's using a lot of Homer Smith's concepts and integrating them into the Dick Tomey program. I think there's big years ahead for Dino Babers. He certainly had a great foundation given him by Homer Smith.
He was the running back coach the last couple of years. In fact, Babers was not even born before your former coach and one of the brilliant men in football, Homer Smith, started coaching. Back with more to Tucson after this. Let's take a quick break. See you in a minute. Daniel on what appeared to be long touchdown plays. Woozy, but up. Our Burger King game summary. Iowa once again cannot run. Arizona can. Northcutt and McDaniel, a couple of big play guys. McCann has racked up some good numbers, and most impressively, as David Norrie keeps pointing out, he handled the pressure well, and he continues to mature with every snap.
Big game for Arizona, big victory. What can Iowa take away from this game? An impressive performance from the quarterback and good line play on both sides of the football.
They string him out, but he turns the corner. And look at him bowl over the defender. Oh, his teammates are going to love that. Dolezal just got bowled over by Callan as he passed the stakes. Flag is down.
Callan's going to deliver the blow here. Sometimes the offensive player is the one that delivers a hit on the outside, and that's the true freshman DJ Johnson, number 33 for Iowa, taking a big hit.
Where are you? What's your name?
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, offense, 15-yard penalty. The line of the game was reached, so it'll be 1st and 10.
So after the play, after the 1st down was already reached by Callan, so it will be 1st down, 5:06. Arizona 3-0 on the season after this one. They've got a couple of big games coming up early October. Big games. Callan loses a yard. On October the 3rd, and you'll see it right here on Fox Net, Arizona will travel to Seattle to take on Washington. The next week, UCLA and Heisman candidate Cade McNown come to town.
Yeah, it doesn't get any tougher than that. You got to visit the doghouse up in Seattle, and then you get to line up against a team that might have a 13-game winning streak running.
Yeah, cats and dogs, you know they can't live together, and they'll be hooking up on October 3rd. That September 24th is a Thursday night for those two games, Washington, UCLA. That will really set the tone whether or not this team is going to make a run at a conference title. The delay on 2nd and 11. And Callan only gets a yard at the most. Tomorrow on Fox NFL Sunday, it's an interconference battle as Brett Favre and the Pack head to Cincinnati, where Neil O'Donnell and the Bengals look for their second straight win over an NFC Central opponent. Plus, we'll have other regional action. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox.
There's some good games on tap tomorrow. Seattle's been just red hot. You talk about one of the teams coming into the season that people were talking about, and they have delivered.
How good does Warren Moon look? Ooh. A new career at 40+. Got another injured player down, and that's Leon Callan at the 42.
Look at that guy.
That's stress for success.
Seems pretty serious. It looks like he wants more points.
Take another break. Arizona, big time, 35-3. The party is just beginning, and I wonder if he's invited. McAllister, we spotlighted him right from the start. Wildcat pride in evidence tonight. And give credit to all those Hawkeye supporters that made the trip down. They travel as well as any school in the country. Let's go to our College Football Saturday studio for an update with Kevin Frazier.
Billy Mack, movement in the top 5 today. Number 4, UCLA gets it done in Houston. Jermaine Lewis scores 4 TDs as the Bruins roll. Now the question becomes, how far will Florida fall? Will it be Ohio State, Nebraska, UCLA, and Kansas State in your top 5? Let's go back to Arizona.
I can't imagine Florida falling too far since the game went into OT, and it's a pretty tough Tennessee team, but now the question begs about UCLA and Kansas State's national championship chances. Obviously, if you look at their schedules, Kansas State has the much easier road than UCLA.
Yeah, tough game when they ride into Boulder, Colorado on October 10th. That could be a battle of unbeatens, Billy.
Flag down. We'll check on it.
Now, this is going to be an offsides call. It's a matter of whether Arizona wants to decline the penalty.
2:43 remain. And for Iowa, they held hopes of going 4-0 before Michigan visited Iowa City.
Penalty is declined.
Not going to happen.
First down.
They decline the penalty. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by GTE, the official telecommunications consultant to the NCAA. And by Marriott Hotels, Resorts, and Suites. We believe when you're comfortable, you can do anything. As Kevin Frazier has said time and time again, another wonderful College Football Saturday, and we hope you were with us wall to wall on Fox Sports Net. More great football coming up next weekend for you. Diving catch out at the 34-yard line. 87. Kevin Casper made the catch. The executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. The coordinating producer for College Football Saturday, Gary Garcia. Tonight's game was produced by Jerry Weinstein and directed by Michael Ireland. Director of Remote Operations is Debbie Kilmartin with a great assist from Joe Washington. And I'm Bill McDonald along with David Norrie. Paul Sunderland has been doing yeoman work down on the sideline for us tonight. Overthrown and incomplete. Ryan Barton, the sophomore from Newton. The intended receiver, Manuel Golden, on the coverage. So 2 weeks in a row, Iowa will taste defeat.
And Iowa has to line up against Illinois up in Champaign next week. A lot of people figuring that's a win for Iowa. They certainly will be the favorite in that game. You go back a year and you look at all the players that Iowa lost in the NFL draft. They lost 5 picks in the first 5 rounds of the draft. They were 4-1 going into Michigan last year, actually playing Michigan at home in Iowa City. And remember, they were up 21-7
yes, they
against
were.
the Wolverines in that game at halftime, a team that eventually won the national championship.
You know, I talked Rose Bowl with Arizona and how they've never been. Well, Iowa hasn't been to Pasadena.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Since the 1990 season, and they've only had a winning conference record twice since then.
But you also have to look at the bowl record. Very impressive. Hayden Fry taking his team to 14 bowl games in the last 17 years. In fact, 3 straight years he's taken the Hawkeyes to a bowl game. Done a tremendous job recruiting people to Iowa City.
Second down, in motion, Casper. Hand off, nowhere. Coming up after our game, we'll take you to Fox Sports News. We are there. The home run race continues. The heavyweight championship out and the great clash. A wonderful rivalry and a thrilling climax. Tennessee and Florida. Great defensive play by Dolphin Tillman on that last play from scrimmage. 3rd down and long. Pump fake, down the middle, into coverage, caught. Well caught coming back to the football. One more once. What do you say we go down to Paul Sunderwood?
Well, Bill, you know, anytime a player takes a shot to the head, you're very concerned. And Matt Bowen, DB for Iowa, left the field very woozy, but, you know, under his own legs, so to speak. He's been very carefully checked by the medical staff. One of the team physicians is with him right now. He's conscious, he's talking, he's communicating. So we just want to make sure we clear that up, because anytime a young man takes a shot to the head, everybody's very concerned. But he seems to be just all right, but they're taking every precaution with him. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Sunday, and that is good news. First down, over the middle. Mullen completes the pass again to Kevin Casper. Arizona getting some fresh bodies out there for a look and some time. Reggie Hardy, inside linebacker reserve. As Casper will go to the sideline. Well, this will end a losing streak against Iowa for Arizona. The Iowa winning streak had reached 3, including 2 in a row here. The last Wildcat win was back in 1980. This is a long ball and incomplete in the end zone. Chris Oliver, the intended Hawkeye, 30 seconds left.
Oliver caught a touchdown pass in the opening game against Central Michigan. Flashed some good speed there, and his arm strength on Mullen pretty impressive. Threw that ball about 65 yards in the air.
I want to give a little praise to the Pac-10 conference in the first few weeks. They really did well towards the end of last year with their bowl success, and it really appears as though the conference is up. They have had some most impressive wins.
Yeah, 5 teams in the top 25 entering this week's action, 6 the week before.
Mullen, good throw. This man Casper still struggling for yardage down to the 24-yard line. The Pac-10 in the rankings. UCLA will be the highest. Washington beat up on BYU. We saw Arizona SC handling Oregon State. And Oregon's a bit of a surprise. They're racking up some big numbers.
Yeah, they absolutely thrashed San Jose State earlier today. And all 5 of those teams capable of springing some upsets. And, of course, UCLA, Washington, the real powerhouses. But Dick Tomey knocking on the door as well. Until Arizona State got upset last week against BYU. Pac-10 schools, 6 of them in the rankings.
Again, stay with us. The best news you can find anywhere. Fox Sports News, prime time. They will even extend the coverage of college college football Saturday. Let's have all the baseball highlights and much, much more. Fox Sports News primetime as we take you to the Flavor Factory for all of it after this game.
You know, Billy, just a super game for Arizona, turning Iowa away. Iowa had some quality drives early in this football game. A big drive in the third quarter. You got to give a lot of credit to the Arizona defense. A big fourth down stand at the goal line. A key interception by Scooter Sprott. And Iowa came out with some fight in this game. You look up on the scoreboard. Not quite as close as this game really should have indicated.
Missed opportunity after missed opportunity for Iowa. And they'll be lamenting that all the way back to Iowa City. Play action. He sold that very well. Touchdown, Hawkeyes. Give it up to Chris Oliver. 25 yards on the pass from Scott Mullen.
Play between two young players here. Rolling to his left. Mullen putting the ball up on a post corner route. Oliver, nice job of looking that ball in, stretching across the goal line.
And something to smile about for Iowa. They will go for two. They are right on the 9-point mark. Exactly what they rolled last week at home. Chima Ugwa. A little anxious. 6'4" senior.
Could be some folks celebrating down in Tucson tonight.
2-point conversion. Mullen right in there. Take a quick break. Be back for the end of this one. 35-11 as Iowa gets on the board, but Arizona on their way to the third win. You know, I've never actually painted my body like that. I wonder how long it takes to clean up.
These fans get behind their Wildcats now. A lot of them have filed out, but this place was full and it was rocking about 7:15.
Yeah, their next home game will be against the Bruins of UCLA, and there won't be a seat to be had for that one. One of their arch nemesis, and the Bruins have never really played well down here. Scramble for the football at the 45-yard line. Iowa's going to get another offensive look at it with 13 seconds remaining.
Now we get a chance to see some more Scott Mullen.
Much to the chagrin of those who are left. Hayden Fry, 69 years of age and a true legend.
You know, and that's a lot like Hayden Fry. 35-11. Now he's still going to onside against you. He wants to get his young quarterback a little bit more work. Hey, if Hayden Fry gets the chance to put the ball up a few more times, he's going to take it. Even though it might not be sitting well with some of these fans in Tucson.
You want to talk about hardcore football? These are the hardcore fans staying with us. Mullen, short, complete, out of bounds, 7 seconds. Number 83, Kyle Trappier.
Straighten the holes out, man. My groins, all that, my calves, man. When you know, now when I was running, this was my last play. When I was out there, I came running off to the sideline. And when I came running off to the side, I was like, I could barely run.
Everything's hurting.
Yeah, when you win 35-3,
it doesn't hurt.
35-11, they're up 35-11 here. It doesn't hurt that bad. You're absolutely right.
News is coming up in just a matter of moments. Could be the final play. It is complete. 2 seconds, 1 second, and this game is over as Kevin Casper gets the reception. So that's going to be it from Tucson with a final score tonight, 35-11, Arizona over for Iowa. Be sure to tune in next week for more college football Saturday action. It all kicks off with Conference USA. Game 1, Tulane battles Navy. And then it's on to the second game of our triple header. The Texas Longhorns host the Rice Owls. A little bit later, we'll have Baylor traveling to number 15, Colorado. Coverage begins at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Check your local listings for games and times in your area. For Paul Sunderland, Dave Norrie, I'm Billy Mack. College football Saturday